The holy beast is raised by the imperial heir and views its raiser as a parent. When the beast takes human form, it becomes incredibly dependent on its parent. As soon as the newly awakened holy beast opened its eyes, it caught the scent of its mother. Mom was a princess, but she was always so busy. The little beast just wanted to play with her every single day. Many people called Mom a bad woman, a witch, a terrifying monster, but the beast thought those titles sounded amazing. Finding its mom, Martina, it knew she was the most incredible woman in the world. Mom is so beautiful. At that moment, Mom noticed the little one. It threw itself into her arms, wanting to do their daily countdown. 3, 2, 1, and stick their tongues out. The two laughed together at the table. The little beast asked, "Mom, have you decided who my dad is going to be yet?" Martina looked off into the distance. "Are you talking about those guys? They are dangerous monsters. Absolutely not good father material. Having just you is enough." Right now, her only priority was protecting this child. Because in her past life, she had lost it. In that previous life, she had held the dying holy beast in her arms. The eldest son of the Empire, Martina's brother Mayfield, claimed that she had killed the beast during the incubation process. The holy beast was the Empire's guardian deity. Her sin branded her a venomous god-killer. Martina had desperately cried, "It's not dead yet, I'll heal it." The tiny claws had touched her hair as the beast whispered, "Mom, it hurts so much." She couldn't hold back her tears. Mayfield had ruthlessly declared, "The court mages have already made their diagnosis. Your holy beast won't live past today. Confess and accept your punishment." Emperor Moran issued a decree, stripping Princess Martina of her noble status and exiling her to the Empire's desolate borders, while her brother Mayfield inherited the throne. During the Empire's War of Succession, she and her brother had each been granted a holy beast to raise. His beast was born flawlessly, securing his right to rule. That brother, who had always opposed her at every turn, had finally won once. But she absolutely refused to concede. She swore to find a way to resurrect her child and take back her rightful inheritance. She escaped from the exile convoy. She was hunted, assassinated by her brother's men, fleeing and searching the whole way. Finally, she found the legendary prophet. The prophet told her that she was the only person to find him in 1,000 years. And she had only one request to resurrect her child. Her courage and perseverance were worth his help. But was she willing to pay the price? Was she willing to sacrifice her current life, to kill herself and start all over again? Hearing this, she needed a reason to believe him. What a cunning girl, the prophet thought. He revealed his miraculous powers, fading the wounds on the holy beast's body. But in this lifetime, that was all he could do. So was she willing to proceed to the next life? She pulled out a knife. She said, "Please take me to that future." In a quiet mansion, she suddenly opened her eyes. There were no wounds. She hadn't lost weight and her hair hadn't been cut. She was reborn. She let out a wicked smile. "To the enemies of my past life, I'm back." Overjoyed, she noticed the necklace resting against her skin. It was the one she had designed to celebrate forming a contract with the holy beast. That meant her child had already returned to her side. As long as it was alive, nothing else mattered. She was so thrilled she held the egg carefully in her hands, terrified of dropping it, only feeling at ease once she safely placed it back down. But what about the method to protect the child that the prophet had promised? Just as the thought crossed her mind, a system window popped up in front of her. It read, "The prophet's customized raising guide has been delivered." It was a manifestation of the prophet's will, designed to help her raise the holy beast. It began explaining basic common sense, but she already knew all of that. Finally, it stated, "If you want the holy beast to grow, you must receive a kiss of loyalty from a pillar of the state. The parent will then transfer this energy to the holy beast." A pillar of the state is an irreplaceable great talent essential to the nation's prosperity. A kiss of loyalty requires feelings of true allegiance while making lip contact with a part of the parent's body. So that was it. In her past life, she had read ancient texts about the holy beast. The books recorded a secret method from centuries ago that allowed the beast to grow rapidly. It seemed this was that lost secret. However, getting a kiss of loyalty from a pillar of the state was going to be difficult because her reputation was absolutely terrible. She had fought her brother for the succession rights since childhood, often getting into physical brawls. She was infamous in high society. Her arrogant and volatile personality was heavily criticized by the nobles. No true talent would ever swear loyalty to a princess like her. But for the sake of her child, she had to change her ways. She wanted to be a mother who could help her child grow up healthy, a mother her child could be proud of. She hoped that when it was born, it would smile and call out to her, just like in that dream, where it smiled and called her mom. Her personal maid, Louise, and the palace knight, Linny, came in to help her out of bed and confirm her schedule for the day. Martina told them to come closer. The two women were terrified. Fear was the usual reaction she got. Acting completely out of character, she asked them for a kiss on the cheek. The two women stared at each other, shock evident in their eyes, but they approached and kissed her anyway. Neither of them met the conditions for a pillar of the state. They were merely servants who harbored some feelings of loyalty. It was just as she thought. There were spies working for her brother among her staff. In her past life, after she was sentenced and exiled, the knight Linny had defended her, resulting in Linny being stripped of her knighthood and reduced to a commoner. Meanwhile, the maid Louise had gone on to enjoy wealth and glory. In her past life, she had been cold to everyone around her because she didn't know who her brother's spies were. But in this life, she could see everything clearly. She threw her arms around their shoulders, thanked them for their hard work, and gave them the day off. She told them she'd handle everything else herself. They were incredibly grateful. The knight hadn't had a day off in 3 years, and a vacation was Louise's biggest wish. They left happily. This was the first step in improving her reputation. At the same time, it was necessary to lull the spy into a false sense of security. There was no need to pull the thorn out just yet. It would still be useful. Outside, the two women chatted, unable to believe this was the princess's usual behavior. It felt like a dream. Someone walked up and asked, "What happened to Her Highness?" They recounted what had just occurred, even praising how beautiful the princess was. Martina felt strange hearing this. Her exile in her past life had allowed her to see people's true colors. Some betrayed her, while others protected her. Miel was the palace secretary who had grown up with her. Even though he would sometimes tease her with a smiling face, in her past life, she gripped her towel tightly. Miel, palace secretary, Martina's childhood friend, the gentle, sharp, flawless secretary who never makes a mistake. Hearing that she had come up with a wild idea, he came to see her. Martina looked at Miel, grabbed him by the collar, and blurted out, "You're still alive!" Confused, he replied, "Of course I'm alive. Did I disappoint you?" Was she crying? But Martina just said, "I'm so glad you're alive." That scene was the eternal nightmare of her past life. On the road to exile, he had died trying to protect her. Miel had known the princess for a long time, but this was the first time he had ever seen her cry. He didn't understand what had happened. Taking a deep breath, Martina said, "I had a dream last night. I dreamed you were in an accident. But seeing you alive and well, I feel like you could work for me for another 100 years. You'll still be my secretary when you're 100. I really am an out-and-out villainess. If you ever try to quit, I'll drag you right back." She also wanted to test Miel. He could flawlessly manage all her schedules and brew 12 different kinds of black tea. She ordered him to kiss her on the cheek. Miel felt like the princess was playing a prank on him again, but she threatened that if he didn't kiss her, his salary would be cut in half for the month. She was always so willful, and he could never win against her. Martina checked the system display. Sure enough, he wasn't a pillar of the state. It was expected, but still a little disappointing. It seemed only powerhouses capable of influencing the entire nation qualified as pillars. During her exile in her past life, many great talents had indeed emerged. She could use her memories to recruit them ahead of time. She asked for today's schedule. The princess used to never listen to her schedule, doing whatever she pleased. Today was certainly strange. Still, he dutifully reported in the morning a fitting for a custom dress at the boutique. Too boring, Skip. In the afternoon, a tea party hosted by Countess Ding. Even more boring, Skip. In her past life, she went to that damn tea party, and they spent the whole afternoon arranging blind dates for dogs. In the evening, her brother, Prince Mayfield, was hosting a ball. Given their relationship, he advised against going. But Martina refused. She was going to that ball. Because at that ball, the future god of war would appear. Ryan. The young prince of the neighboring Cisnan Empire. The future general, the undefeated black god of war. He was heavily out of favor in the Cisnan Empire, leaving the palace in his teens to travel alone. He later joined a mercenary group, which was seen as an utter disgrace among the nobility. Years later, when the Cisnan Empire went to war with her country, Ryan was called back, winning battle after battle and earning the title of the Black God of War. And Ryan's initial grudge against her country started at this very ball. He had been hired by a noble to act as a bodyguard. During the event, he accidentally bumped into another noblewoman. This drew deep disgust and fear from her. To protect the nobles, Martina's brother had Ryan thrown out of the ball. If she could help him through this crisis, maybe she could earn his kiss of loyalty. It could even ease future relations between the two countries. "Prepare my most beautiful dress," she ordered. "I'm going to the ball." At the banquet hall, she remembered how she had a terrible relationship with these nobles in her past life and rarely attended balls. She greeted Lady Sophia, but the reception was icy. The Edgar brothers saw her and didn't even say hello. Only when they heard her did they turn and greet her stiffly. They thought the princess looked down on them, yet here she was at the ball. Martina couldn't hold back. She said she occasionally wanted to see how idiots danced. The brothers were furious. "As expected of my dear sister," a voice chimed in. "Wherever she goes, a storm of blood follows." Mayfield had walked over at some point. The nobles respected the prince and greeted him warmly. Watching them walk away, Mayfield turned to Martina. "Don't you hate occasions where I'm present? Why come to my ball? To dance," she replied. He looked at her, puzzled. "These people fear you and despise you. No one wants to dance with you. Stop embarrassing the royal family." A princess of the empire with no one to invite her to dance. Do you know what a massive scandal that would be? "If you bow your head and beg me, I might accompany you for one song." Martina flatly refused. A commotion broke out in the distance. Martina smiled happily. "I've found my dance partner." In the eyes of the nobles, mercenaries were just dogs. They sold their combat skills for money. Today they fought for one side, tomorrow they might support the other. They were just dogs to be ordered around for coin. Why show a dog any respect? The noblewoman involved was of high status, a well-known figure in social circles. Ryan's employer, intimidated by her status, pushed all the blame onto Ryan, even though Ryan had been hired to protect him at the ball. The employer demanded Ryan either kneel and beg the lady for forgiveness or get the hell out. Even apologizing wouldn't be enough. These people had no idea of Ryan's true identity. If Ryan lashed out, it could trigger a war between the two nations. He remained silent at this moment, a cruel memory he wouldn't mention to his subordinates until the two countries were at war years later. Just as they were about to throw him out, Martina shouted from afar, stopping them. She announced that this man was her dance partner. The crowd turned in shock. Martina pointed right at him. "I've chosen this man. Who dares take away someone belonging to the princess?" The noblewoman tried to explain that the man had knocked her over. Martina immediately offered to compensate her with 2 brand new dresses. Whether she was hurt or not didn't matter. The noblewoman was furious. The princess was actually going to dance with a lowly mercenary? What an insult to the royal family's reputation. Martina looked at Ryan. "Did you hear that? I'm a crazy princess. Let's see if you have the guts to dance with me." Drawn in by her unique charisma, he shook off the guards holding him. In his homeland, strong women were like the fiercest war horses, and only the bravest warriors were qualified to challenge them. "Thank you for granting me this qualification," he said. He gently kissed the back of her hand, and just like that, they began to dance. From above, Mayfield watched everything unfold. His sister just loved doing outrageous things. He chuckled lightly. It didn't matter. She would come crying to him in the end because he was her only blood brother. As they danced, Ryan thanked her for saving the situation. Martina replied that she just couldn't stand those nobles. As a reward, he offered to grant her one request. Here is my chance, she thought. But if she directly asked him to kiss her hand, it wouldn't carry true loyalty. What should she ask for? For example, he offered, guarding you for a month, fighting for you, or assassinating someone for you. Testing him, she asked, what if my request is to assassinate a prince of this country? I can do that, he said, but you'll have to buy my life to do it. Martina had almost forgotten, during his mercenary days, he was a total desperado. Only his country and his mother anchored his sanity. She wasn't interested in something as barbaric as murder, but she had a better idea. How about meeting me privately tomorrow? He frowned slightly. I'm very sorry, I cannot accompany you. Martina hadn't expected to be rejected. She was stunned, and later found herself sighing constantly back at the palace, wondering why. Miel heard her sighing and said, You do know your own personality, right, princess? Martina slammed her hands on the table and stood up. What's wrong with my personality? Miel replied, dominant and overbearing. You used to bully me all the time when we were kids. Ryan had only left her a slip of paper with his address. At this rate, when would she ever get a kiss of loyalty? If she couldn't get it, her child would die again. She stroked the egg. Suddenly, the egg moved. Martina quickly called for Miel, asking if the holy beast was about to hatch. The system window popped up, saying the holy beast was hungry. Everything she had endured, escaping from exile, fighting tooth and nail in her past life, earning this rebirth, was all for this moment. She finally had hope of seeing this child again. Thank goodness it was just hungry. Miel found it strange. How could an egg be hungry? He guessed the princess just wanted a late-night snack. Martina snapped, "Mind your own business. I said it's hungry, so it's hungry." Miel thought it was too dangerous for her to hold it like that and suggested she put it down. At that moment, the egg wobbled again. The two exchanged a look and carefully placed it back in its nest. The holy beast was about to hatch. This was the most critical time. It had to be taken care of perfectly. Miel ordered the room temperature adjusted to the optimal incubation level, set up aromatherapy with the princess's favorite scent, and put on soft, soothing music. Martina couldn't help but laugh. "Miel, you act like a mother right now." "Everyone calls me the villainess's lapdog," Miel replied. "Shouldn't a lapdog protect everything that belongs to its master?" His words pleased her. In her past life, when the child hatched, it was already severely ill. It lived for less than a day. Not even the strongest mages could save it. It stopped breathing right in her arms. In this life, she would absolutely not let that happen again. Since she had confirmed that the mercenary Ryan was a pillar of the state, she had to get his kiss of loyalty. Right now, she needed to gather some materials. She told Miel to come back early, as the holy beast needed his scent around too. Watching her walk away, Miel thought to himself, "She actually said I act like a mother. Shouldn't I at least be like a father?" The next day, she went to the Red Mountain Inn to find the tall mercenary with blue eyes, only to discover he wasn't there. He had gone to Perot Park, the cemetery for noble lords. Going to a graveyard in the heavy snow? The guy must be crazy. No wonder Ryan had rejected her invitation yesterday. Today was his mother's death anniversary. His father was the emperor of the Cisnan Empire. His mother was the daughter of a noble in the Moran Empire. The two countries had always been at odds. His mother had fallen in love with the Cisnan Emperor by chance while traveling. Defying her family's objections, she eloped with him and gave birth to a child. Ryan's mother's elopement was constantly mocked by Cisnan's high society. She had left her homeland, and her husband's country never accepted her. She eventually died of depression and, according to her will, was buried in her homeland's cemetery. During his time as a mercenary, Ryan often visited the Moran Empire and would visit his mother's grave every time. He wanted to retrieve his mother's belongings from when she was young, but her family refused to ever see him. Standing there, he suddenly heard someone calling him. It was Martina. She had come to bring him a gift. "Your Highness, why are you here?" She told him to open it and see for himself. He opened the box. Inside were his mother's belongings. Martina told him not to worry. She hadn't told anyone his identity. She had just heard he was visiting the noble cemetery, and combining that with his signature blue eyes of the Vidas royal family, she did some investigating and figured it out. How did she get these? Her family had hidden everything away since her elopement. Martina smiled. She had just used a few privileges of being a villainess. Regardless of her motives, he was grateful. To him, his mother's belongings were priceless, but he didn't know how to repay the princess. In the Cisnan Empire, he was the least favored prince. His father and the former empress's sons had pure bloodlines and were much more likely to inherit the throne. His mother's family refused to acknowledge his existence. In over 20 years, they had never met him once. All he had in this world was the sword in his hand and the horse behind him. He knelt down. "Mercenaries are just homeless beasts. Your gift is enough to buy my life. Tell me, who should I tear to pieces for you?" Martina smiled. "I don't want anything boring like that. How about I become your home? What they can't give you, I will. The pain they've caused you, we'll fight against it together. I will never let you be a lonely beast again." When he was a child, he used to sit alone in his room holding a sword. Now the door cracked open and sunlight poured in. Martina walked over to take his hand. She wanted to cage a wild beast and have it live for her. A villainess and a beast, wasn't that an interesting combination? "You are truly unbelievable, my crazy princess," he said. He took her hand, pulled off her glove, and said, "I swear my loyalty to you. From now on, the princess is my home." A system window popped up. Parent Martina has transferred energy to the Holy Beast. Emergency, the Holy Beast's energy is full. It is about to hatch. How could it be so fast? Martina's face filled with panic. Seeing her reaction, Ryan thought she was trying to back out of their deal. His expression turned dark and dangerous, looking as though if she went back on her word, he would drag them both down to hell together. She wasn't going back on her word. She just suddenly remembered she had something urgent at the palace and had to return immediately. A carriage wouldn't be fast enough. He draped his cloak over her shoulders. She wasn't cold right now, so why was he giving her a coat? Suddenly, she was swept off her feet. He picked her up and said, "Riding a horse will be windy and cold. My horse is fast, I can get you there before noon. But it's going to be freezing and bumpy. Can you handle it?" Martina grabbed his collar. "Even if my hands and feet freeze off, I don't care. Let's go right now." He smiled. The horse's hooves kicked up dirt, as expected of her. They arrived at the Moran Empire's royal palace. Martina said, "Thanks for your help this time. Once I've taken care of my child, I'll contact you again." Ryan grabbed her arm, looking confused. "You have a child?" Martina smiled brightly. "Yes, I have a child." Ryan watched her run off into the distance. She had a child with someone else? "Who is that man? I'll kill him." He grabbed his own face. "No, she'll be angry. She'll hate me. I have to endure this." Inside the princess's chambers, the egg had cracked open slightly. Mia was pacing around it anxiously. When a holy beast is born, the first person it should see is the princess, but she hadn't returned yet. Mia could only beg the holy beast to hold on a little longer. But the crack only grew wider. Everyone in the room let out a collective, panicked scream. Martina burst through the door. "You're all too loud!" They immediately stood respectfully to the side. In truth, Martina was terrified too. In her previous life, when the child hatched, it was on the brink of death. That scene was her eternal nightmare. Now she was tense and afraid. Would it be healthy? Would it survive? Finally, the holy beast broke out of its shell, calling out, "Mom!" Martina instantly burst into tears. "My child, thank you for being born safely." Meanwhile, in the prince's chambers, the fireplace roared. Mayfield's holy beast had also hatched. It looked adorable. His subordinates congratulated him on successfully incubating the beast. He received a secret report. Princess Martina's holy beast had also been born today. Mayfield turned around and said coldly, "I told you to send someone to poison it. Is this how you handle things?" Watching the baby beast drink milk was too cute. Holy beasts are born with the consciousness of a 2- or 3-year-old human. Magical creatures were truly amazing, but drinking normal milk would only restore a tiny bit of its magic. The only efficient source of magic was the kiss of loyalty from a pillar of the state. Martina thought to herself, "At least I have Ryan now." But he was about to leave for his next mission. She wanted to keep him as her long-term bodyguard, but the system warned her that if a pillar misses out on necessary life experiences, they might lose their status as a pillar. If Ryan didn't travel the world, he might never become the future Black God of War. So she decided to let his original timeline play out. It was so frustrating. But then the holy beast pounced on her, calling her mom. Martina's heart melted. She couldn't help but kiss it. For her child, she'd endure any amount of trouble. In this country, there was a wildflower called the lily. It could live for over 30 years, and even if it was burned by fire, it would regrow. Martina named her beast Lily. "You belong to Mom. Lilies live a very long time. Mom will protect you, Lily, so you can live a long, long time." The secretary and the maid walked over. The maid looked surprised. "Her Highness's holy beast has a great appetite. The bottle is already empty. I'll go prepare a new one." Miel reported, "The news of your holy beast's birth has been relayed to His Majesty and announced to the major nobles. At the same time, your brother has also hatched his holy beast." "Understood," Martina said. Lily leaned forward curiously, asking if the secretary was her dad. Both Martina and Miel froze in place. Miel's face instantly turned bright red. "No," he blurted out. Martina laughed. If he were a dad, he'd definitely be bossed around by his wife and daughter all day long. He coughed lightly. "You know full well I'm single." He turned to Lily and explained, "He's Her Highness's servant, and Her Highness loves picking on him the most." Lily didn't know what a servant was. Martina rushed over and covered Lily's ears, telling Miel not to teach the child weird things. Martina introduced everyone by name. After putting Lily down, She asked Miel for the intelligence report on the maid, Louise. Miel didn't understand why Martina suspected her. She had passed a background check before. Martina suspected her because Louise had no loyalty toward her. She deduced that in her past life, Louise was the one who poisoned Lily's egg. In this life, Martina had guarded the egg closely, so Louise hadn't found an opportunity. She must have been bought by Mayfield. But since she passed the background check when she was first hired, something must have happened recently for her to be bribed. Martina ordered Miel to investigate Louise. Miel suggested just firing her. But firing a maid without cause would only worsen her reputation. If she wanted to beat her brother and ensure Lily became the true holy beast of the Empire, she had to become an incredible mother. In the kitchen, Louise's hands trembled as she prepared to add the poison. Someone whispered to her, "Do you want to test the villainess's limits? If Princess Martina finds out what you did, she'll have 10 vicious dogs tear you apart. Just do as I say." Gritting her teeth, Louise dropped the poison into the milk and brought it to Martina. She told the princess the milk was warmed and would be best consumed within half an hour, then asked to be excused. Martina closed her book and said, "I have something to discuss with you." Louise's heart hammered in her chest. She turned around, trembling. "What is it, Your Highness?" "Drink it," Martina said. Louise refused. Martina pushed. "Why won't you drink it? Are you hiding something from me?" The nipple of the bottle was inches from Louise's lips, but she still didn't confess. Martina had no choice but to bring out the evidence. Miel wheeled a woman into the room. It was Louise's mother. Her mother said, "Thanks to the princess, I saw a doctor who says my eyes can be cured. Louise, you must thank the princess properly. My poor child, once I'm cured, you won't have to shed any more tears for me." Louise broke down crying. "Thank God. As long as she recovers, I'll do anything." Her mother had suddenly gone blind, plunging their family into poverty. Louise had even stolen Martina's ring. Martina noted that the cost of the ring would be deducted from her salary next year. Louise couldn't believe Martina was still willing to employ her. Martina swirled the milk bottle and said, "Of course, people call me a notorious villainess, but I'm also a mother. I have a lot of respect for a woman who does bad things for the sake of her own mother." Deeply moved, Louise confessed, "This bottle of milk was spiked with a potion. Someone threatened me, forcing me to murder the holy beast. I'll tell you everything I did wrong." Martina told her, "I'll be waiting. But first, go take a walk with your mother. You two haven't seen each other in a long time." As the two slowly left the room, Miel looked surprised. Instead of punishing her directly, Martina had her take care of her mother. That was very unlike her usual style. Martina leaned in close. "Are you implying that I used to be a vicious, rude princess?" "No, I'm not," he said. She pointed at his eyes. "Those cunning fox eyes of yours say otherwise. Just you wait. I'll do plenty more things that will surprise you." She walked off happily. Miel's expression shifted. Her core personality was the same, but her methods had completely changed. The old Princess Martina would never have given a traitor a second chance. Anyone who dared offend her would be trampled underfoot. Her volatile nature had made her countless enemies, earning her the titles of villainess and witch among the nobles and commoners. Though she did have her cute moments of cuteness that only he knew about. What had caused such a massive change in her? Was it really just the impact of becoming the holy beast's mother? Or had something happened to her that he didn't know about? The simultaneous hatching of two holy beasts caused an uproar in the Moran Empire. The guardian beast had a unique reproduction cycle. As the current emperor neared the end of his life, his beast would lay an egg. The egg was handed to the imperial heir. If the heir was legitimate, the beast would hatch. Heirs who failed to hatch the beast were often found to have illegitimate bloodlines or be practicing dark magic, and were sentenced for severe crimes. The father of Martina and Mayfield, the current Emperor Gardner Moran, had been severely ill for 2 years. His holy beast had laid 2 eggs. This meant both of the emperor's children were legitimate heirs. It was a first in the empire's history. The Parliament of Nobles had decided that whoever hatched their beast first would secure the throne. But they had hatched on the exact same day. The carriage came to a halt. Martina stepped out, leaning on Miel's hand. She couldn't stop shaking. Miel noticed her nervousness. This was her first time formally attending the Parliament of Nobles. Inside were many people who despised her, people who wanted her struck from the royal registry. None of them probably expected a notoriously awful princess to successfully hatch a holy beast. They might even attack Lily to get at her. This was also Meal's first time seeing her look so down. To him, she had always been like a runaway carriage. She would just crash right through any obstacle in her path. Martina forced a smile. So, in your heart, I'm not even human? Her smile always gave others courage. She walked in with that smile, trusting that every obstacle would make way for her. Inside the Moran Empire Parliament of Nobles, Prince Mayfield Moran has successfully hatched a holy beast. Princess Martina Moran has also successfully hatched a holy beast, announced Grand Justice Matthew Douglas. According to imperial tradition, an heir who hatches a holy beast is entitled to the throne. But in all our history, 2 heirs hatching beasts simultaneously has never happened. How the succession will be decided is now up to you, the nobles, and His Majesty. Emperor Gardner Moran and Empress Isabel were present. The Emperor asked, "Can neither of you prove yourselves more worthy of this throne than the other?" Mayfield spoke up. "Perhaps my sister should voluntarily withdraw. Just a few days ago at a banquet, she publicly berated nobles to defend a lowly mercenary." Lily got angry and yelled at him to stop talking bad about her mom. Mayfield's beast roared at her, but Lily refused to back down. Martina asked, "Brother, before you slander me, please explain what this is." She pulled out a small bottle. Mayfield scoffed. "Why have you brought a ridiculous baby bottle here?" Martina continued, "Someone bribed my servant to poison my holy beast using milk laced with magic powder. Interestingly, I had the potion's formula analyzed. The recipe for this specific potion belongs exclusively to the mages working under my dear brother. A prince who plots to murder the Empire's holy beast has no right to the throne. Isn't that right, brother?" The crowd erupted in murmurs, suspicion falling heavily on the prince. The Emperor demanded silence and asked the prince to defend himself. Mayfield said, "Coincidentally, my mage is waiting outside. Bring him in." Martina felt a spike of anxiety. In her past life, he had used magic to kill Lily. Could she use this tactic to bring him down in this life? She instinctively hugged Lily tight. The doors opened and the prince's mage was brought forward. The prince told him, "My sister claims someone tried to poison her holy beast, and the potion used was one only you know how to make. The evidence is solid. What is your response?" The mage immediately dropped to his knees. "I made the potion, but I acted entirely alone. His Highness knew nothing of this. Plotting against a holy beast is an unforgivable crime. I am willing to pay with my life to prove His Highness's innocence." With that, he cast a spell and self-immolated right there in the hall. Martina was shocked. The entire room recoiled in horror. The hall fell into chaos. Mayfield looked at Martina. "I took revenge for you. Are you satisfied? You managed to force a valuable mage to die for you. Now there was no witness to testify against him. The testimony of one mage isn't enough to prove anything," Martina shot back. The Emperor began coughing violently. The Empress intervened, telling Martina to stop. "Your father is too exhausted. We end here for today. I believe your brother would not intentionally harm you. We will revisit the succession issue at next month's parliament." Many people began to file out. Martina stood up to leave. Mayfield stood behind her and called out to her. "We really are so alike," he said. "Equally arrogant, equally cunning, both waiting for the chance to deal a fatal blow. And we have the exact same cold-blooded eyes." Martina snapped, "If you don't like it, you can gouge your own eyes out." "Our father is weak and fading," Mayfield whispered. "Mother holds no real power. 70% of the parliament obeys my commands. The knights serve me. The mages have signed contracts with me. I am one step away from becoming the apex of this nation. When the time comes, I'll mount your eyes on my crown and turn your little rabbit into a pair of gloves." Martina shoved him away hard. "You've loved stealing my things since we were kids, but this time you'll be the one who loses." "I'm already looking forward to hearing you scream for mercy," Mayfield sneered. Riding in the carriage, Martina sat in silence. That lunatic Mayfield's words kept reminding her of her past life. In that life, Lily was poisoned to death by him, and Martina was condemned and exiled. Losing to him was a fate worse than death. She had gone through hell to get this second chance and had saved Lily's life. In this life, she absolutely would not repeat the same mistakes. She turned to Meal to discuss her plans, only to find him and Lily making silly faces at each other. Martina couldn't help but burst out laughing. "What are you two doing?" "This makes Mom happy," Meal said. "I didn't want Mom to be sad." Martina's body trembled slightly. "I was actually scared. I was terrified I wouldn't be able to protect her. But I'm not scared anymore. Seeing her smile gives me so much courage. As long as Lily is with me, there is nothing I can't do. I'll be with you forever, Lily cheered. Don't cry, Mom, I'll be your handkerchief. Miel smiled as he looked at Martina. She has the power to protect others, he thought. I can prove it. 10 years ago, Miel had been serving her tea. Martina looked at him and said, very beautiful. He hadn't understood what the princess meant. She pointed at his eyes and said, your eyes are beautiful, like the green grass in the garden. Mayfield had mocked her from the side. Using such vulgar metaphors? Your royal tutor must be an unpresentable idiot. Miel had looked terrified and quickly apologized. Martina told him to leave and ignore the mad dog. Mayfield's expression had soured. That night, Miel brought water to the prince's room. Mayfield bumped the cup, shattering it on the floor. Miel anxiously asked if His Highness was hurt. The prince demanded he pay for it, claiming the cup was worth more than dozens of servants. But the prince had obviously broken it himself. Mayfield ordered his guards to break Miel's arms and legs. A group of guards rushed in, pinned Miel to the floor, and Mayfield smirked wickedly. Just as they were about to snap his arm, Martina walked in. Let him go, she demanded. Mayfield looked displeased. He broke my cup. This is what he deserves. You have 100 cups, Martina retorted. You have enough cups to drink from until you die. Are you really going to defy me over a worthless weed of a servant? Mayfield challenged. Unfazed by his threats, Martina replied, even if he is a weed, he's a weed that caught my eye. She walked over to Miel and asked, are you willing to be my servant and mine alone? If you dare, I will protect you. Miel reached out and grabbed her hand. Martina looked back at Mayfield. One day I'm going to chop you into pieces and throw you in the latrine. Later, Miel quietly thanked the princess. She brushed it off, saying she just didn't like her brother and told him to go see a doctor to get his arm set properly. Miel swore to repay her. She looked confused. Just do your job for me. I'll wear glasses from now on, Miel said. Because you said my eyes are beautiful, I'll draw attention to them for you. Martina was taken aback but said, suit yourself. I'm going to work you to the bone anyway. Back in the present, Miel asked what she planned to do next. Prince Mayfield's faction is massive, and he has contracts with many mages. But based on my investigation, the mages contracted to him are mostly mid-level. If you can secure a contract with a high-level mage, it would significantly boost your prestige. She agreed. She had to find a powerful mage to act as her strategist, otherwise Lily would be in danger. But she didn't plan on recruiting any of the current high-level mages. She was going to find a future legendary mage, Phoenix. Right now, he was just an ordinary apprentice at the Magic Tower. Born a commoner, he was a nobody during his apprenticeship. Years later, Phoenix would write in his memoirs that today was the day he was framed by other apprentices and kicked out of the tower. At the Magic Tower. Phoenix, is this what you submit as your assignment? The instructor yelled. The task was to freeze a fire elemental in ice. But what did you freeze? A fly. Does trash like you even deserve to study at the Magic Tower? Phoenix tried to defend himself. I submitted a fire elemental. Someone swapped my assignment. The teacher frowned. Are you accusing your noble classmates of swapping a commoner's assignment? Laughter erupted from the students behind him. Someone sneered, Professor, the parchment he uses for his assignments is garbage we threw away. Why would a noble steal his things? He has to dig through trash to finish his homework and work in the kitchen just to afford his uniform. What's the point of someone like him learning magic? Phoenix, the teacher said sternly, the Magic Tower will not tolerate terrible students like you. I told you before, one more mistake and you would be expelled. As of today, you are no longer a student here. Fine, Phoenix shouted. Even if I don't study here, I'll keep studying magic. I'll create spells none of you have ever seen. You are far too arrogant, the teacher replied. You forget that the Magic Tower is the pinnacle of magic. Go pack your bags. You don't belong here. At that moment, someone walked into the room and whispered to the instructor. The instructor told Phoenix to wait. A highly esteemed guest had submitted a request to the Magic Tower to become his sponsor. As he was led down the hall, people kept reminding him, the guest is extremely noble. Make sure you don't say anything vulgar and offend her. Phoenix muttered that he didn't even know who it was. Suddenly, his eyes went wide. Martina introduced herself. I am Princess Martina of the Empire. The instructor quickly interjected. Your Highness, there are many apprentices here much more worthy of sponsorship. He has violated tower rules 3 times and even stole from a noble apprentice. Sponsoring him might damage your reputation. He shot Phoenix a mocking smile. Yes, he stole young Master Edmund's assignment. Though I can't imagine why anyone would steal an assignment graded 23 out of 100. Don't speak nonsense, the instructor hissed at Phoenix. You have no right to humiliate a noble. In her past life, Phoenix truly was expelled on this day. He returned to his home village and went back to being a commoner. There, he had no convenient magical materials or professors to guide him. But he never gave up on magic. Using things he found in the fields, he kept practicing, and magic never abandoned him. He created countless brand new spells, shocking the magic tower. Filled with regret, the tower invited him back. He suffered a lot in that village. If she could keep him in the magic tower and act as his backer, he would undoubtedly blossom into a genius even faster. Martina interrupted them, asking to speak with Phoenix alone. The instructor agreed. He gave Phoenix one last warning about his manners before leaving them. Once alone, Martina said, I will cover all your tuition expenses at the magic tower. Whenever you face difficulties, you can come to me. I don't care what they say about you. I just want to know, are you willing to let me be your sponsor? To her shock, Phoenix started taking his clothes off right in front of her. Martina quickly squeezed her eyes shut. I don't have those kinds of intentions. Put your clothes back on. I just wanted to show you what my last sponsor did to me, he said. She opened her eyes, stunned. He was a viscount, Phoenix explained. He intensely hated magic, but wanted a mage as a servant. Since most mages are nobles, he couldn't enslave them. But I'm a rare commoner apprentice. He said he would sponsor me in exchange for my service, but every time I used magic, he would brutally torture me. I just want to know, are you going to do the same thing to me? Martina stood frozen. He couldn't trust her, yet he desperately hoped for her help. He was like a stray cat that had suffered too much, wanting to approach a human but too terrified to do so. In that case, she had to lure him with a fake mouse. She draped his coat back over his shoulders. She knew that no matter what she said, he wouldn't believe her. How about this? Every time you achieve a goal, I will sponsor you for another academic year. Your first goal is to research and create a portable, small-scale magic heat source. Phoenix was stunned. How did she know what he was already researching? He had been forced to stop due to a lack of materials. This winter is incredibly cold, he said. Many people in my home village froze to death. I've been thinking about the same thing. I am a princess of the empire, Martina said. I also want my people to survive the winter warmly. Are you willing to continue researching this spell for me? Still shocked, he asked. Will you provide the magical materials? The other apprentices throw my things away. Can I move into a single dorm? I'm a bad woman, remember? Martina said. I can do all of that. Phoenix couldn't help but laugh out loud. I'm the bad student the professors hate most. I guess I'll follow you then. I've heard kissing the back of the hand shows loyalty, but that seems to be a knight's etiquette. Can I do it to you? Martina thought he was just like a little kitten. Was she really going to collect this kiss of loyalty so quickly? He placed a kiss on her hand. But the system display read, Phoenix has no loyalty. Was his sincerity just now all an act? Was this future Grand Mage actually a pretentious genius? How interesting. He was just about to ask, Your Highness, can I apply for research materials under your name from now on? When he was suddenly yanked upward by someone growling, No, you cannot. Martina was shocked. Why was Ryan here now? When she went to the inn looking for him, where had he been? He's dangerous, Ryan said. If you keep him by your side, he will bring you danger. Give the word and I'll eliminate him for you right now. Phoenix instantly ready to spell. Martina was confused. Phoenix was still just an ordinary apprentice. Even the professors hadn't noticed his talent yet. How did Ryan know? Was this some kind of resonance between pillars of the state? The natural wariness of powerful beasts toward one another? If you don't have the heart to do it, I will, Ryan warned. Phoenix remained on high alert. Stop! Martina shouted. The two paused and looked at her. She emphasized, You both swore loyalty to me. You are my retainers. Without my permission, neither of you will act on your own. Looking pitiful, Phoenix whined, I was just so scared. Martina told him to follow her so she could negotiate his sponsorship with the professor. She promised to handle the room change and the research materials. That's all for now, she said. She turned back to Ryan. You need to cool off. Go wait by my carriage. As they walked away, Phoenix shot Ryan a mocking face. Ryan gritted his teeth in fury. Ryan knew the princess was angry because he had acted too impulsively. But he wanted to kill anyone dangerous around her. It was like he was losing his mind. Ever since the day he swore loyalty to her, he kept dreaming of her. Was the person in the dream her? Why did she have short hair? And why did his chest ache whenever he left her side? Only fighting on a battlefield brought him any relief. Was this the cursed blood of the Cisnen royal family? It gave him power, but turned him into a monster unable to control himself. To forget the pain, he took on more mercenary jobs. Only muscle soreness and freezing baths could calm him down. How can I pretend to be normal in front of her? He agonized. When Martina returned, she was in high spirits. She had successfully made early contact with a future legendary mage. Then she noticed Ryan. "Have you calmed down?" she asked. She knew he had royal blood, so she respected his thoughts. He grabbed her hand. "This has nothing to do with my status. I want to belong to you. I want to be tightly bound to you. I want you to leave your name on me." Martina thought it was bizarre. Writing her name on him? What a strange request. But he looked so agitated. If it would make him feel better, she would do it. She pulled out her lipstick. "I don't want something that will just fade away and leave no trace," Ryan said. "I'm terrified I'll turn into a mad monster." Martina didn't understand what was wrong with him. "Even if I become a monster, even if I lose all my memories," he said, "as long as I see this mark, I'll remember you." His grip on her hand tightened. "Stop it! You're hurting me!" Martina scolded. He immediately lowered his head and apologized. Martina pushed him away. "You want something that can override your pain?" She snapped a thorn off a rose. "Only a sharper pain can do that." "Where do you want me to write it?" "On my chest." She carved her name directly into his skin. "Why aren't you screaming?" she asked. "This is what I deserve," he replied. Even though this wasn't the pain she was meant to bear, as long as I live, I will never let her suffer again. When she checked the system, she saw that the energy from the kiss of loyalty decreased with each subsequent kiss from the same person. It was designed to prevent her from relying on just one source. Before leaving, Martina handed him something. "This is an invitation. If you ever want to visit the palace, show this to the guards, but it can only be used once." "I want more chances," he said. "I need a loyal knight, not a madman," Martina said. "Behave and you'll get more. Farewell for now." He watched the carriage drive away, thinking he might actually have a good dream tonight. Meanwhile, inside the carriage, Martina was convinced he was an absolute lunatic. The look in his eyes terrified her. She had originally prepared 3 invitations for him, but she held back, worried that giving him too much sugar would only make him crazier. Phoenix was a sly cat who never told the truth. Ryan was a wild dog who could snap at any moment. "Are all pillars of the state this dangerous? I just want to raise Lily in peace." In the palace corridor, Miel rushed up to her. "Lily seems to be sick." "What happened?" Martina asked anxiously. "Her stomach suddenly swelled up, and she keeps crying that it hurts," Miel explained. "But she hasn't had anything to eat today except milk." Lily begged her mom to see what was wrong. She cried that her stomach was bloated and it hurt even more when pressed. Martina gently felt Lily's stomach. "It hurts," Lily cried out. Martina felt helpless. "Don't be scared, Lily. Mom will find a way to heal you. Let me go talk to Miel. I'll be right back." "Come back soon," Lily sniffled. Martina pulled Miel aside. "Did she eat anything strange? Have you checked?" "I checked everything. She only drank milk," Miel confirmed. "Could it be something else? Did my brother send a mage again?" "Did she see any strangers today? Touch anything unfamiliar?" Martina was panicking. "Please calm down," Miel urged. "I've inspected everything she touched. Nothing is suspicious, and she hasn't had contact with anyone else." Martina was devastated. "We're right here in the palace. I'm a princess of the Moran Empire, yet I still can't protect her?" Miel comforted her. "Before we lost Lily last time, you found the poisoner. You are protecting Lily. Holy beasts are beings of magic. Human doctors can't treat them. Once you've calmed down, we'll take Lily to see a mage." Miel looked at the exhausted princess. "Am I the only one who gets to see her like this?" He reached out to comfort her, but stopped himself. Martina looked up. "What is it?" "Nothing," he said. At that moment, a maid approached, saying the Empress had summoned Martina. Martina was confused. Why would her mother want to see her? Was her father okay? The Empress was prone to zoning out. Hearing Martina's voice, she motioned for her to sit closer. In her past life, when she was convicted and exiled, driven out like a rat, her mother had visited her in prison exactly once. Her mother was already very ill by then. Her voice had been so faint that Martina couldn't hear most of what she said. She only remembered one phrase, "my child." Later, while on the run during her exile, Martina heard the news. The Empress of the Moran Empire had passed away. She had fallen gravely ill the moment the princess was exiled and never recovered. "Don't resent her," she had said. "During the parliament, she couldn't take sides between you and Mayfield. She represents the nation and your father. She couldn't show favoritism." Martina stood up. "If that's what you want to talk about, I don't resent anyone. Mayfield is a lunatic, but I won't lose to him." The Empress grabbed her hand. "You and Mayfield were so close when you were little. Why can't things be like they used to be? Why won't you listen to your brother?" "Stop fighting him. We are family. If this continues, he will hurt you terribly." "Before he makes his move, I'll chop his head off first," Martina stated flatly. The Empress was shocked. Martina pulled her hand away. "I didn't want things to turn out like this between you two," the Empress pleaded. "Next month, a prince from the Cisnan Empire is coming for a visit. He will propose a marriage alliance with you." A marriage alliance with Cisnan? The two empires had been locked in conflict for centuries. Their citizens despised each other. When Ryan's mother eloped with the Cisnan emperor, her homeland rejected her, and her husband's country scorned her. If Martina married a Cisnan prince, that would be her exact fate. She was stunned. Did her mother really want her to become the next Cisnan consort? But her mother continued, "You think too poorly of me and your brother. The one coming for the alliance is the second prince of Cisnan. I hear he is a noble and elegant prince." Martina smacked her mother's hand away. "I don't think so. The holy beast could only grow within the Moran Empire. What would happen to Lily?" "I am a mother too," Martina said coldly. "I will not leave my child." She turned to leave. "Lily is sick. I have to go take care of her. You can come see her if you have the time." The Empress remained where she was, overcome with grief. Must she watch her son and daughter tear each other apart? Lily was still acting a bit strange, but Martina had already sent for a mage to cure her. "Mom, hold me more, please?" Lily asked. "It doesn't hurt when you hold me." Martina held her tight. "I'm not going anywhere. I'll stay right here with you." Soon night fell. Martina woke up from a light sleep. Miel was just about to cover her with a blanket. She asked softly, "Has the letter to the magic tower been delivered?" "He'll be here soon," Miel said. Linny came upstairs. "I've delivered the letter to Phoenix. I told him to wait downstairs while I informed your highness. He also said to tell your highness to look out the window." Outside, fireworks were going off. When Lily woke up and saw them, she was ecstatic. The fireworks even took the shapes of various little animals. Since Martina had mentioned in her letter that she needed him to treat a child, Phoenix had prepared these animal-shaped fireworks. Lily loved them, marveling that one day she might be able to fly too. Seeing her so energetic put Martina's mind at ease. Phoenix had used magic to set off the fireworks. He figured that since he was now her highness's retainer, his greeting shouldn't be shabby. If he wanted his magic research to go smoothly, he had to butter up the princess. But when he entered, he realized the child she had mentioned was actually her daughter, Lily. He had always thought the Empire's holy beast was just a folk legend. He didn't expect it to actually exist. Her head is so soft to pat, he thought. Because Lily was a being condensed from magic, Martina had sought him out to heal her. Lily's stomach was severely bloated. Phoenix wondered if Martina was really entrusting such a crucial matter to him, a mere apprentice from the magic tower. "I believe you will surpass everyone in the future and stand at the true pinnacle of magic," Martina told him. Phoenix was taken aback. Besides himself, she was the first person to ever believe he could do it. He used his magic to examine Lily. "Wow, that's massive," he muttered. It was a type of magic he had never seen before, completely different from human magic. It was vast and mysterious. So this is the holy beast that carries the fate of the Empire. "Lily's body is completely different from a human's or an animal's," Phoenix explained. "Inside, she is pure, massive, magical energy. Her stomach hurts because a small stream of foreign magic hasn't been digested and is clashing with her own magic." Martina realized it must be the energy from Ryan's intense second kiss of loyalty. "The solution is exercise, of course," Phoenix said. "Is she being carried by your highness every day? Does she rarely walk on her own?" Martina thought about it. Actually, yes. Miel stepped in to defend her. That's because living in the palace carries risks for Lily. She needs protection at all times. The tension between the two men was palpable. Martina pushed Miel aside. There's no need to defend me. It's true that I coddle Lily too much and can't bear to let her play on her own. She turned to Phoenix. Can you help her this time? As long as I can trace the flow of the magic, there's no magical puzzle I can't solve. A blinding light filled the room. When it faded, Lily leaped into her mother's arms. It doesn't hurt anymore. Martina hugged Lily and praised Phoenix. Lily called him an amazing big brother. If she calls me big brother, Phoenix teased, how should I address you, Mom? Based on age, I should probably call you big sister. Martina just smiled. Behind her, Miel watched the exchange and gave Linny a subtle signal. Linny stepped forward. It's getting late, and it is inappropriate for Mr. Phoenix to stay the night. I will escort him back to the magic tower. On their way out, Martina asked Phoenix what reward he wanted. Putting on a cute act, he asked, if I said I want to call you sister when we're alone, would you let me? Martina turned to face him. Your intentions are incredibly easy to read. If you need more sponsorship for your magic research, then show me some real results. Stop playing these little tricks, understood? Go back and get some rest, little brother. Phoenix was stunned. She saw right through him. He then attached himself to the bodyguard, Linny, trying to pry for information about the princess. Linny rebuffed him, but she did share how she became the princess's personal guard. Previously, Her Highness's royal guard had 4 members. Linny said, I was the only woman. The others only cared about seducing Her Highness, dreaming of becoming her lovers to gain favors. I couldn't stand it and fought them, but I was outnumbered and losing. When I was about to collapse, Her Highness handed me a new sword and told me to clean up this trash. She said if I won, I would be her one and only personal guard. Ever since learning Lily was just suffering from indigestion, Martina took her for daily walks in the palace gardens. Whether it was visiting nobles, servants, or guards, everyone loved Lily. Even the way they looked at Martina was no longer filled with just fear and disgust. She decided it was time to officially introduce Lily to high society. She wanted the people of the Moran Empire to know that Lily was her most precious child. She also wanted to use this opportunity to tally up the nobles, to see how many belonged to Mayfield's faction, and how many had the courage to stand by her side. She planned to host a banquet celebrating Lily's 1-month milestone, inviting every noble in the capital. The nobles appeared united on the surface, but they all had their own stances and factions. Naturally, given her past reputation, very few actually supported her. To tackle this, she had Miel prepare 3 different types of invitations. The first was a white letter sent to all the nobles. Written in a respectful, concise tone, it formally invited them to the banquet. This was the first filter. The nobles who agreed to attend were either corrupt opportunists planning to latch on to her, or moderates whose opinions of her had recently improved. The second was a black letter, sent to those who rejected the first invitation. This letter was a threat, much like the ones she used to send. The nobles who caved after the threat were those she could still potentially win over. Those who still refused were partly Mayfield's loyalists. They only dared to give her the cold shoulder because her brother was backing them. The third was a red letter, sent to those who rejected her twice. This letter was a bribe. Nobles swayed by a bribe were naturally not the upright sort. They would be the easiest to poach from her brother's camp, and in the future, they would serve as the sharp edge of her blade. Anyone who still refused her after the third letter was either one of her brother's diehard loyalists or someone with true, unwavering resolve, a noble truly worth recruiting. After 3 rounds of filtering, every noble's stance was crystal clear. Now she just needed to break them down one by one. A few days later, there was one person outside the noble factions who needed her attention. The guy who had been delivering her letters for days, visiting dozens of noble estates daily. Even a body made of iron couldn't hold up. He was running a fever and still working. Martina grabbed Miel, trying to drag him to bed. But to her surprise, she couldn't move him. He was a head taller than her, and if she used brute force, she might hurt herself. Miel asked her not to come too close, worried he might infect her. Martina touched his forehead. You feel a bit better than this morning. You just need to rest properly. Miel pulled her hand away. You shouldn't do this to a servant. Martina frowned. Are you going to lecture me on princess etiquette, too? I'm already called a villainess by everyone. Playing by the rules is a waste of effort. But that wasn't what he meant. He felt she was being far too kind to her servants. They'll misunderstand, he warned. Martina was taken aback. She was the master. She could treat her servants however she pleased. Miel already knew what kind of person she was, but he couldn't control his own feelings anymore. Please leave, he said. You have more important things to do. Don't waste so much time on a servant like me. Martina gave him one last look before the door shut in her face. She couldn't believe she had just been kicked out by her own servant. Was he just in a bad mood because he was sick? She decided to have someone send him some tonics that afternoon. Because Miel was sick, his self-control was slipping. His mind was full of inappropriate thoughts. He was just a servant. He shouldn't entertain these presumptuous desires. Even the handkerchief he carried belonged to her. He was marked by her. Everything he was belonged to her. Only this hidden, shameful yearning belonged solely to him. At the Grand Justice's estate, "The Lord has been waiting for you," the servant announced. She was here to meet a very stern old man. He was the most important judge in the country. She told Lily, "If someone does something bad, he's the one who decides how many lashes they get. But just act like you normally do, Lily. That grandpa isn't a bad person." Grand Justice Matthew Douglas was a man born to judge evil. In his heart, the distinction between good and evil superseded all else. In her past life, it was his gavel that sentenced her to lifelong exile. Among all the nobles she had invited, he was the first to return all 3 of her letters. Upon seeing him, Matthew bowed politely. Lily also greeted him politely. He noted her presence and warned, "Your Highness, it is not suitable to bring the holy beast out of the palace. It should be protected in a safe location, exposed only to the royal bloodline." "Don't worry," Martina said. "I've brought enough guards. Please have a seat," she offered. "I came today to ask you in person why you refused to attend Lily's 1-month banquet," Martina stated. Matthew replied, "I clearly stated in my reply that I am unwell. I do not wish to spoil your Highness's banquet with my sickly appearance." "What if I told you that your honor is the person I want to invite the most?" Martina countered. "If you were the one to bless Lily, she would grow to have a soul as just and incorruptible as yours." But Matthew declined, claiming he had a more suitable candidate in mind. Martina stood up. "The fire in this room is too hot. I'm going out to the balcony for some fresh air. Lily is still young and catches cold easily. Could I trouble you to watch her in here for a moment?" Matthew frowned. "Is that appropriate?" Martina's expression hardened. "Are you really going to defy your princess over such a small matter?" She stepped out for some air. The preceding argument was just a performance. Everything had already been agreed upon between her and Lily. Lily was eager to help her mom. In her past life, after being framed by her brother, Martina was originally slated for the gallows. But the Grand Justice had convinced the other nobles to change the sentence to exile. His reasoning had surprised her. The fact that Princess Martina remained in her cell tightly holding the corpse of the holy beast proves she did not intentionally murder it. She had always been infamous for her arrogance. Why did he speak up for her in the end? It wasn't until she was on the run, passing by a small, impoverished village, that she understood. She saw a woman calling out to the children, "Come back! If you don't come back, Grandpa Matthew will be angry." It turned out the Grand Justice had built orphanages in many poor villages to raise homeless children. Though he was a strict, old-fashioned noble, he deeply loved children. Remembering her mother's instructions, Lily looked at the old man just as she usually did and asked, "Why do you have such a grumpy face?" "You can pat my head. People who like me always pat my head." For the holy beast raised by the princess to be so honest and friendly, Matthew thought. It seems the rumors of their harmonious relationship aren't entirely false. "Don't hesitate," Lily urged. "Mom says my head is the best thing to pet in the whole world." Matthew smiled. "Your mom is telling the truth." And that was exactly Martina's true objective. Getting the stubborn Grand Justice to directly side with her was impossible, but getting him to acknowledge and accept Lily would be a massive help for her future plans. "Lord Matthew, I won't give up," Martina said when she returned. "I hope we'll have the chance to sit and talk again." Lily waved goodbye to the grandpa, and Matthew bid them farewell. Only after they left did his true expression show. He really did adore Lily. Back at the palace, the Emperor and Empress invited her to dinner. This family dinner also included His Highness Mayfield. "It's rare for our family to have such a warm dinner together," Mayfield said. Before going, Martina instructed Miel, "Take Lily back to her room. If I'm late, put her to bed first." Suddenly hosting a family gathering right as she was preparing for Lily's 1-month banquet? Was it because she rejected the marriage alliance with Sisnan? Or was Mayfield scheming again? Whatever it was, it couldn't be good. Being the most exalted royal family in the Moran Empire meant her family was a suffocating hell. Her father, Gardner Moran, was a cold politician. He married the daughter of a major noble, her mother, solely to rope in the southern factions. Her mother, Isabel Moran, was a weak-willed noble girl who married with romantic fantasies, only to be met with her husband's icy indifference. She thought that if she became the perfect empress, she would earn his love, so she desperately learned all the rules, acting with extreme caution. She applied that same strict upbringing to Martina and Mayfield. Ironically, that was the time when she and Mayfield were the closest. When Mayfield saw she was getting sleepy, he would tell their mother she was tired and take her for a walk in the library. Mayfield would lead her into the library. She saw right through him. He just didn't want to read and definitely didn't want to play with her. He shushed her. Since his smart little sister had figured it out, he offered to play hide-and-seek with her in the library. Library hide-and-seek was a game she and Mayfield played often because their mother was always locking them in there to study. Mayfield had invented it. The one hiding would pick a book, place a piece of paper inside, and hide the book anywhere on the shelves. The seeker had to ask a question, and the paper would contain the answer. The question she wanted to ask was, "Why is Mayfield my brother?" Mayfield was speechless. "Because mother gave birth to me first, so obviously I'm the older brother," she pouted. "In the stories, older brothers are always gentle. Why do you always bully me? Why is my brother such an annoying jerk?" Martina, feeling cursed with a bratty sister, stormed off in a huff. But he quickly came back to coax her. He answered seriously, "Stop throwing a tantrum. If you win, I'll buy you that dress you like. If you find the book I hide, you win. If break time ends and you haven't found it, I win." She had plenty of pretty dresses. She just wanted to beat Mayfield. She finally found the book, but it was too high. She couldn't reach it. Mayfield walked over and asked if she needed help. She refused. He had obviously placed it up high on purpose. Mayfield smirked. "If you beg me, I'll help you, and I'll even let you win." She absolutely loathed him. Her only other choice was to give up. "I'm your brother," he taunted. "I won't punish you." That game of hide-and-seek ended with no conclusion. She didn't concede, and she didn't beg. She just kicked him hard, ran back to their mother, and threw a massive fit. For bullying his sister and breaking the rules, both Mayfield and she were punished with copying lines. She still wondered what was written on that slip of paper inside the book, but she never went back to check. At the dinner, they were already waiting. Mayfield was there. Her father began. "Several ministers have reported to me that you've become much more approachable recently. I am very pleased to hear this. As a princess, it's an excellent quality. You are now the raiser of a holy beast, and you should display the qualities of an heir." That's exactly what he did back in his day, she thought. Great. He always thinks I'm a daughter he can be proud of. Her father highly valued securing the noble's support. As long as he felt she could win more backing for the royal family, he wouldn't condemn her outright. In her past life, she showed no mercy to nobles she disliked and built no faction of her own. Back then, no one spoke up for her. In this royal family, there were only relationships of exploitation and calculation. Her mother was used to appease the southern nobles. She and Mayfield were used to showcase the royal family's benevolence. They had to act like toy dolls, always wearing perfect smiles. That was why she and Mayfield had turned into the people they were today. Her father brought up the marriage alliance and told her to prepare for it. He noted she was busy with the Holy Beast's one-month banquet. Martina smiled and bluntly stated her thoughts, rejecting the marriage alliance outright. Mayfield chuckled from the side. "We've been at odds with the Sisnan Empire for nearly a century. This is a perfect opportunity to mend relations between our two nations. Are you really trying to ruin it?" Martina locked eyes with him. Sparks flew. "Then you go marry them." Her father continued, "The Sisnan Empire only has 4 princes. I assume you're worried that once you marry into Sisnan, there will be no one to take care of your holy beast. I have already considered this for you. Isabel, bring them in." Martina stood up abruptly. "Martina, Mayfield, these are your holy beasts. We found a magic that allows holy beasts to take human form. So don't worry about them. They will live very well here with me. Be a good girl and go through with the marriage. You and your brother just need to obey your father and serve the country. I will care for them as if they were my own grandchildren." Her brother's holy beast was named Siegfried, a very heroic name. But right now, both children were completely unresponsive, as if they were being manipulated. Did Mayfield know about this? Judging by the foul look on his face, it seemed their parents had kept this move a secret from him too. Perhaps she could use that to her advantage. Martina sat back down, forcing a smile. Since Mother will be taking care of the holy beasts, I can rest easy. However, holy beast taking human form is a first in Moran's history. Shouldn't we announce this miracle to the public? They now shared a common goal, protecting their respective holy beasts. They had to expose this. Only by making it known to the nobles and the citizens could they ensure the holy beasts wouldn't be tampered with. She had just sent Mayfield a signal. If he was smart, he'd know what she meant. Of course, Mayfield chimed in. Let's announce it. Announce that both holy beasts took human form on the exact same day. Otherwise, I'm afraid my cunning sister might spread rumors that she achieved it before me. Her father nodded. That's a good idea. I'll consider it. However, that will only happen after you both do what you are supposed to do. You are members of the Moran royal family. Your lives, dignity, and destinies belong solely to the Empire. If you want the right to inherit the throne, you must bleed every last drop for the Empire. Martina tried to call out to Lily, but the girl showed no reaction. Mayfield walked past Martina and muttered, "They must have used dark magic. Our father is capable of anything. To him, the holy beasts are just tools to consolidate his power." She needed to talk to him. That night, the two stood on the castle walls holding wine glasses. "This whole situation reminds me of when we were kids," Martina said. "How rare," Mayfield replied. "You actually want to reminisce. If you didn't want to talk, you didn't have to respond to my signal earlier." "You know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when we were little and Father traded us as hostages." Back then, they were around the same age as the holy beasts were now. She was even younger, just a little sprout. Several major nobles from the east had rebelled, catching the Moran Empire off guard. On the surface, their father negotiated peace with the nobles, but secretly, he was organizing an army to wipe them out in one fell swoop. After sending them as hostages, they were locked in a horse stable for over a year. The smell made them want to vomit. One piece of shit noble probably thought he had won and, completely disregarding the peace treaty, tried to take her away. "It's hilarious," Mayfield scoffed. "You just got a little cut from a piece of a horseshoe, and he went howling out of there." "Why don't you remember the times you embarrassed yourself?" Martina shot back. "You caught a terrible fever and lay in the hay every day. I was the one who befriended the stable boy to beg for medicine for you." Back then, they barely spoke to each other because talking too much made them hungry. They were like two unwanted stray dogs. When their father finally won the war, he assumed they were already dead. Unluckily for him, they were still alive. "I won't let our holy beasts become hostages too," Martina said. "I want us to work together to rescue the kids." "And what do I get out of helping you?" Mayfield asked, swirling her wine. "You are my only brother. You're the only one I can rely on." Mayfield grabbed her by the chin. "You're quite the actress." She cut to the chase. "Tell me what you want up front. Don't make some boring joke about me giving up the succession." Mayfield demanded the Kalen territory she controlled. Martina agreed, but added a condition. "When I leave to discuss the marriage alliance, you must get the holy beasts out as quickly as possible." Mayfield smiled. "Congratulations on us becoming a family again, my dear sister." Mayfield was entirely untrustworthy. This move was just to stall him, ensuring he wouldn't backstab her while their father was forcing the marriage alliance. But she still didn't know what to do about the alliance itself. When she opened her door, she found Miel injured. "You told me to take the holy beast back to the room," he said. But not long after, the Empress arrived with guards to take it away. She brought over a dozen men. We couldn't stop them. I tried to take the holy beast back, but they beat me. Martina ordered Linny and Louise to leave. "Are you badly hurt? Let me see." Miel tried to push her away. "A noble princess shouldn't look at a man's body." "I don't care," she said. "I've seen plenty." Miel froze. "It's inappropriate. I'm just your servant." Martina, deeply worried about Lily, explained what had just happened and why she now had to ally with Mayfield. Miel was drowning in self-blame. He hadn't been able to protect Lily. He didn't even know why he was here. That mercenary would definitely have been able to stop the Empress's guards, and that mage would have been able to heal Lily. "But I'm just useless. Is that why you went and begged that man?" he continued bitterly. Martina was shocked. "What stupid nonsense are you spouting?" Before she could process it, she slapped him across the face. She didn't want to hear him talk like that anymore. She had already dedicated everything to her goals. She didn't need anything else. I just wanted to be more useful to you, Miel confessed, lowering his eyes. I hate seeing you sad when there's nothing I can do to help. I'm sorry. You must be very upset right now. I shouldn't have said those things. I'll take my leave. He has always been useful, Martina thought. He's been useful since we were kids. When she was sad back then, Miel would notice and ask what was wrong, even though she would swat him away. He would smile and tell her stories, always staying by her side. Why had he suddenly turned into someone she didn't recognize? In the Empress's bedchamber, the two children had fallen asleep. Gardner asked if she wanted to go see them. I'm not interested, he replied. He even blamed her for not raising their own children well. The holy beasts are important. Take good care of them. Don't embarrass our family. A few days later, the second prince of Siznan arrived for a visit. His name was Nosa, and he was Ryan's older brother. He arrived with great fanfare, bringing a massive convoy and gifts under the guise of a friendly visit to the palace. He looked nothing like Ryan. Ryan would never dress like a Christmas tree. She wondered where Ryan was right now. She had given him an invitation, but he hadn't come to see her once. That evening, her father hosted a welcome banquet. During the event, Nosa invited her to meet privately. It was strange he didn't bring up the marriage proposal during his formal visit, but instead asked her out in secret. But this worked in her favor. If he wanted to start by building a relationship, then the marriage wasn't a done deal yet. So she happily agreed to chat with him. Nosa complimented her. You are nothing like the rumors say. You are so gentle and beautiful. Those rumors must all stem from jealousy. Mayfield, overhearing from the side, let out a cold scoff. Martina just smiled and said, It must be the petty and vile who are jealous of me. I'll walk you out, Nosa offered. I've purchased an estate on the outskirts to serve as my temporary residence. I hope to invite you there soon. The thought of seeing her again filled him with joy. But Martina checked his status. Nosa did not meet the conditions to provide her with energy. He's a prince, but he's just a useless straw man, she thought. What a lovely afternoon for a date, Your Highness, her maids chimed. Which dress will you wear? Martina didn't want any of them. She just wanted something simple. If Lily wasn't in her father's clutches, she never would have agreed to this idiot's invitation. She couldn't tell her maids what was really going on. She used to discuss everything with Miel, but ever since their argument, he rarely showed his face. Thinking about it made her so angry she kicked the table and stubbed her toe. On the streets of the capital, she was out. Nosa had taken her to an underground auction house. It featured many powerful illicit items. I found this wonderful place as soon as I arrived in your country, he boasted. As a prince, I've grown bored of the usual legal entertainments. I much prefer indulging in pleasures that could send a man to hell. Most nobles wore masks here, while commoners hoping to get lucky usually showed their faces. With me, I guarantee you endless joy, he whispered. But I heard the Emperor of Siznan despises nobles who indulge in such debauchery, Martina pointed out. Aren't you worried His Majesty will be furious? Don't worry about that, I'll protect you. As long as my feelings for you are genuine, why care what others think? As he spoke, he accidentally tugged her hair. She hated clumsy people. I'm going to the washroom to fix my hair, she said. I'll wait in VIP box 1. Take this token, a servant will guide you. She had him figured out. Nosa was a useless playboy addicted to pleasure. To her surprise, Phoenix was here too. No need to guide me, she told the servant. I'll go to box 1 myself. The next item up for bid was a Tier 3 treasure, Magic Forest Crystal Amber. The starting price was 3,000 gold coins. The bidding started quickly. Martina quietly walked up beside Phoenix. If it were her, she wouldn't jump into a bidding war right away. It was better to observe the opponent's strategies first. Phoenix told her to mind her own business. I hear that when commoners show their faces here, it means they're offering themselves up to be chosen by nobles. Is that what you think I'm doing? He asked. Has this noble lady set her sights on me? But I'm a mage. I'm very expensive. Martina held back a laugh. How expensive? I'm just a viscount's daughter. I don't have much money. Hearing she was broke, Phoenix quickly distanced himself. If you want to play sugar mommy, go find someone cheaper. You're just a commoner acting high and mighty as a viscount's daughter. Use your brain, Phoenix, she teased. Only the smartest people in this country can study magic. The price was approaching his maximum limit. That was all the savings he had. Martina reached over and hit the buzzer for him. 4,500 gold, she announced. Phoenix thought she was insane. He whispered frantically, "Once you call a price here, you can't take it back. You jump the bid so high. If someone bids higher, I can't afford it." "If they do, then so be it," Phoenix shrugged. "You're smart, you'll find another way to get it later. And if we win, I don't mind you keeping me company." They won the auction. "This kind of gem is very popular among nobles," Martina explained. "I've seen it many times. The absolute ceiling price for 3 of these is 4,500 gold. The 3 nobles bidding against you know the market value perfectly. By calling the absolute ceiling right away, they won't blindly outbid you. See? The brains of nobles aren't completely useless, are they?" Phoenix took her hand and placed a kiss on her cheek, his face flushing slightly. "Sorry for yelling at you earlier. Consider this kiss an apology and a thank you. Is that okay? With this gem, my magic research can take a massive leap forward." He told him to wait while he went to pay. He really was just a pure mage at heart. As long as someone helped his research, he'd trust them. Being with him lifted her mood. In the front VIP box, Nosa wondered where the princess had gone. What a troublesome woman. If she had left the auction, his men would have informed him. She must still be in the venue. "Are there any slaves up for auction today?" Nosa asked. There were 3. 2 were Naya tribeswomen with rare platinum blonde hair. The other was a savage from the western jungles, known for incredible strength, perfect for gladiatorial shows. "I'll take them all. Pay the maximum price," Nosa ordered. "Oh, and I don't like slaves who scream. Cut their tongues out." It was strange. Phoenix had gone to pay and collect the gem, but he had been gone a long time. Things weren't going smoothly for him. He had won the bid and had the gold, but they refused to hand it over. The crystal amber was a Tier 3 treasure, and the auction house owner claimed they didn't sell Tier 3 or higher items to commoners. The auctioneer hadn't mentioned any such rule. He was clearly making it up on the spot. The owner was throwing his weight around, flat out refusing to sell it to him. Someone grabbed Phoenix by the collar, and the owner ordered his men to beat him and throw him out. Phoenix took a punch straight to the face, cutting his cheek. Before he knew it, Martina was standing right behind him. "I'll buy the gem for him," she said quietly. Seeing her, the owner assumed she was an accomplice. He had seen commoners pretending to be nobles plenty of times. Martina caught his mocking tone but warned him, "Take that back and sell the gem to me. Otherwise, you won't be able to keep this auction house open." Phoenix pulled her away. "You don't need to help me." "I won't bow down to them." In a quiet corner backstage, Martina cleaned his wound. "Why didn't you let me buy it? What about your magic research without the gem?" Phoenix said he had other ways, deflecting by expressing concern that he was dirtying her handkerchief. "I'll wash it before returning it," he said, tucking it inside his coat. He asked if it was really okay for her to be hanging around him. Martina assured him she came alone. "Well, since you're alone," Phoenix smiled mischievously, "you wouldn't mind if I did something a little bad, right?" He conjured a flame. He told Martina to blow on it. She did. Riding the breath of air, the flame drifted outward. Phoenix explained it was an illusionary fire, it wouldn't actually burn anything. Soon the entire area was engulfed in illusory flames. The staff panicked and scattered. "He didn't want to sell it to me, and perfectly enough, I don't want to spend my money anymore," Phoenix said. He offered his hand. "My lady, would you care to dance with me in the fire?" The auction house staff were entirely focused on evacuating the nobles. With no one around, this was their chance to grab the item and run. But looking at the flames, Martina still felt a flicker of fear. Phoenix laughed. "Is the smart young lady not used to fake fire yet? It's perfectly normal to be scared. Let me show you how to play with it." The fake fire couldn't touch anything, but it was formed from magical elements in the air. When it sensed fluctuations in the air currents, something fun would happen. The flames broke apart, floating in the air like fireflies. Martina was delighted and thanked him. Phoenix stared at her smile, momentarily stunned. Snapping back to reality, he said, "You don't need to help me find the gem, my lady. Just play for a bit, and once I find the crystal amber, we'll leave." Phoenix started rummaging through the goods, thinking to himself that this noble girl was actually really nice. She had been helping him all along, and her smile was truly adorable. "Wait, no, what am I thinking? I'm here to find magic materials." He found it. He turned to call out to her, "Time to go, my lady," but his eyes widened. Her face was filled with sorrow. He asked what was wrong. "There's someone very important to me," Martina said softly. "He's in terrible danger right now. I was just thinking, I wish he could see these fireflies. Phoenix couldn't bear to see her sad. For a moment, he thought she resembled that person. But that person was royalty. She would never be here alone. If she really was that person, his earlier disrespect would earn him a whipping. He wiped away her tears. I really wish the two people here today were just a commoner mage and a viscount's daughter. Don't cry. I'll take you to play with more things. When you cry, it makes me feel like an idiot. No complex spell stumps me, but making your tears disappear, that's a puzzle I can't solve. I found the thieves, a guard shouted. How dare you use magic to disrupt my auction? I'll chop you to pieces to cover the losses, and that masked woman too. Phoenix stepped in front of her. Don't touch her, she is a true noble lady. He turned and urged Martina to run. Her reputation was important. He didn't mind getting caught and taking a beating. The guards lunged forward, yelling that neither of them was escaping. Martina sighed and took off her mask, revealing her true face. She declared her identity and demanded, "Who dares show disrespect in my presence?" Even then, they refused to believe her, accusing her of impersonating the princess. But someone who had seen her portrait recognized her flaming red hair and gray eyes. Phoenix was shocked. Why are you here? Just a coincidence, Martina lied smoothly. Running an unlicensed underground auction is already illegal. Refusing to hand over a paid-for item constitutes fraud. With these crimes, beheading you wouldn't be an overreaction. However, I happen to need some intelligence from the underground market. Do you understand what you need to do? She ordered the owner to send the intelligence to the palace, directing it to her secretary, claiming it was for her new dresses. Taking over the auction house in the process made the trip entirely worthwhile. Your Highness, I thought you were in danger and was looking for you, Nosa said, suddenly appearing. It seems you've found a new lover. Phoenix asked. Your Highness, what does he mean by lover? That wasn't in our sponsorship agreement. I'm only 18. If you want me to be your lover, you have to pay extra. Nosa had misunderstood, but Martina decided to use it. Just play along, she signaled to Phoenix. Don't talk too much, just stay by my side. Martina leaned close to Phoenix. He's a very talented young man who's been by my side for a long time. She turned to Nosa. It's perfectly normal for royalty to have lovers. The second prince surely understands, right? Of course, Nosa said, hiding his irritation. I don't mind at all. Our interests align perfectly. I'm sure we'll get along wonderfully after we're married. Since the auction was interrupted, why don't I invite you two to the casino to relax? 3 people playing could be quite interesting. Let's go take a look then, Martina agreed. As they walked to the carriage, Nosa offered his hand. It's getting late, Your Highness. Please take my hand, it's safer. I was just testing him, Martina thought. He really does have so many lovers, and he's proud of it. Now I definitely don't want anything to do with him. Suddenly, an arm blocked his path. The second prince is so thoughtful, Phoenix said, pushing Nosa back slightly. But unfortunately, Her Highness is only accustomed to my service. Anyone else makes her uncomfortable. Nosa smiled. Your Highness has quite the loyal lover. Martina looked back and smiled sweetly. I have many loyal people like him. You'd better start getting used to it early. Inside the carriage, Martina asked how he knew to block Nosa for him. You wouldn't brag about having multiple lovers in front of someone you were actually interested in, Phoenix noted. You mentioned marriage earlier. Are you two having an arranged marriage? That guy reeks of obnoxiousness. You'd be better off with me than with him. Realizing what he had just blurted out, he panicked. Just because she showed a moment of vulnerability earlier, he had completely forgotten he was just trying to squeeze more research funds out of her. Your Highness, since I put on such a good performance, is there any chance of a bonus? He deflected. Martina chuckled. You think you can get a bonus just for that? Scamming money out of me isn't that easy. Phoenix leaned in close. Is this enough? Martina's eyes went wide. His face was truly stunning. Sister, this is the part where you're supposed to close your eyes, he whispered. Martina actually complied. Being with him always made her forget her troubles. Was this also his magic? Phoenix was stunned that she was actually playing along. She's going to make me actually want to kiss her. Just as she was about to say something, Martina turned her head sharply. Something's wrong. Phoenix snapped back to reality. What is it? His men are gone, Martina said. The carriage driver and guards had been replaced by Nosa's men. And this wasn't the route to the casino. His previous sponsor had taken him on a ride like this, too. Phoenix immediately prepared to help her escape. Taking them all on alone would be tough, but he was willing to try. Martina smiled. If you escape now, it will only bring you more trouble. You're just a selfish, cunning little genius. In the Magic Tower's warehouse, there's a safe. Inside are things I prepared for you. Run away by yourself. Those things will help you finish your magic research much faster. Phoenix remained silent. Back at the palace. Your Highness, I have completed the investigation, a spy reported to Mayfield. The Emperor used a forbidden potion to force the holy beasts into human form. It was developed by 3 high-level mages from the Magic Tower. They began researching it 30 years ago. It's incredibly vile and shortens the beast's lifespan, which is why it was kept sealed away. 30 years ago. That was before their father inherited the throne. So he had ordered the research back then, but never needed it because his succession went smoothly. Now he was pulling it out to control his own children. Well done, Mayfield said. Are our people placed on the Empress's side? The Empress still refuses to let you near the holy beasts, Your Highness. I could only watch the 2 children from outside the door. That little girl looks so much like Martina, Mayfield mused. I really want to turn Martina into something just as obedient. Genius is always lonely. Brother, they say you can do anything, a little boy said. Our stove broke and we've been eating cold bread for days. This is my favorite candy. Can you fix our stove? Phoenix was just about to agree when the boy's mother ran over. Don't be so disrespectful to the mage, she scolded her son. It takes centuries for a mage to be born in our village. Offering such cheap trash is an insult. My child is young, he didn't mean to offend you, sir. Please don't trouble yourself over a broken stove, mage. The villagers treated him well. They revered him, worshipped him, and saw him as the village's glory. But there was a massive void in his heart. He told himself, yes, genius is always lonely. This is my destiny. He studied alone, advanced alone. He had gotten used to this life. He was used to winning alone. The noble student saw him as a stumbling block. Magic was his only friend. He was also used to enduring pain alone. Even when beaten, he never complained. His sponsor told him to endure the lashes for gold coins. He was so frustrated. He had a natural gift for magic. Why did it have to be him? It doesn't matter if I'm alone, he thought. As long as I can put out the fires for myself, it's fine. She was right. In this world, she was the only one who saw right through him. She saw through all his tricks every time. It was so frustrating. Martina told him to hurry up and run. The second prince's target was her. Nosa would have to consider international relations. He wouldn't dare kill her. She told him to be careful, because she wouldn't be there to help him fight with nobles anymore. He would return to the Magic Tower, find the materials she left him, and continue his research alone, climbing to the absolute peak of magic. Because genius was destined to be lonely. But why did she look so sad? Whenever he thought of that look on her face, he couldn't bring himself to leave. She had given him a reason to fight against the loneliness. Martina, I don't want to be alone anymore. I want to stay by your side. By dawn the next day, there was still no trace of the princess. Based on her route, Miel had ordered a rapid search of the capital. No one had seen her since she left the auction house. Expand the search perimeter, Miel ordered. Search outside the city walls, too. The fact that His Majesty hadn't reacted was a terrible sign. Louise spoke up softly. Lord Miel, you're still sick and you haven't slept all night. Should you rest for a moment? Linny and I won't let our guard down. Whatever it takes, Linny added. When it comes to Her Highness, I'll risk my life. Suddenly, the window shattered with a loud crash. Phoenix burst in. I know where she is! Miel rushed forward. Is she safe? She was taken by the second prince, Phoenix reported. But I placed a tracking spell on them. I can pinpoint the location. Miel glared at him. You were right beside her and you let her be taken? Watch your tone, Mr. Secretary, Phoenix shot back. I know you hate me. You hate any man who gets close to her. But right now, I'm the only one who knows where she is. So you're just going to have to deal with it. In the suburbs outside the capital. My little lover took out quite a few of my men, Nosa thought. I had to put him to sleep so he wouldn't snatch you away. The next day, Martina slowly opened her eyes. She found herself in an unfamiliar room. She had been kidnapped by Nosa yesterday. This must be his estate. He actually had the guts to pull something like this. As soon as she opened the door, she found Nosa standing right there. How did you sleep? He asked. That dress looks beautiful on you. The size should be a perfect fit. Before he could finish, a resounding slap echoed through the room. Martina glared at him. You changed my clothes? Who gave you permission to do that? Nosa sneered. I finally understand why your people call you what they do. You're like a bloodthirsty red spider, but you need to understand your situation. The only reason I dare do this is because your father, the emperor, gave me his promise. Martina understood. Her father had sold her out. A princess of a foreign nation was noble, but in the face of a grander political transaction, she was just a high-value commodity to be bought and sold. Just like that Nia tribeswoman at the auction house. She had platinum blonde hair. Maybe she was a chieftain's daughter, too. Even if you and my father made a deal, you don't control me, Martina stated coldly. I can kill myself at any time. Nosa frowned. You're that opposed to it? You'd rather die than marry me? Try me, she threatened. Fine. I'll give you 10 days to think about it, Nosa said, visibly annoyed. This woman will serve you in the meantime. I don't have much patience. Martina paced the room. It was her father. No wonder Nosa had asked her out so quickly. No wonder the kidnapping went off without a hitch. For the sake of profit, her father had gone to these lengths. The maid beside her tugged at her sleeve, trying to gesture something. She couldn't speak. Her tongue had been cut out. Martina realized she was trying to explain something, but the tribal woman didn't seem to know how to write. She drew a picture instead. The maids changed my clothes, not him. Thank you. Don't worry about me, Martina said, moved to tears. Even in a situation like this, a complete stranger was showing her kindness, while her own father had sold her to a foreign prince. She thought she would never shed another tear over her rotten family. 3 days later, Martina pushed her plate away. The food is terrible. I'm done. Nosa was baffled. He had specifically prepared dishes to her taste. Well, I have a guest today, he said. Do you want to join us? I don't want to speak to you, Martina retorted. You disgust me. Over the past few days, she had mapped out the entire estate, finding absolutely no chance to escape. The villa was in the deep suburbs, far from any other houses. Outside, a squad of 10 guards patrolled constantly. Inside, Nosa's slaves were everywhere. They were beaten into submission and didn't dare disobey him. Nosa had looked at her earlier as if to say, if you don't agree to the marriage, you'll end up just like them. She wondered how Lily was doing. Miel and the others must be going crazy with worry. Should she pretend to agree to the marriage and then look for a chance to escape? No. Nosa wouldn't accept a verbal promise. He definitely had documents prepared for her to sign. Was there really no way out? She heard Nosa's guest arrive. There's a rebellion brewing back home, the voice said. Father has summoned us to return. It was Ryan, so the guest Nosa mentioned was his brother. She had completely forgotten about this detail. Ryan seemed to sense something and looked up. Martina stared at him in shock. Their eyes locked. Allow me to introduce you, Nosa said proudly. This is Princess Martina of the Moran Empire. The Emperor has already agreed to our marriage. She is my fiancée, your sister-in-law. Martina walked downstairs. She wanted to ask Ryan for help without letting Nosa realize they knew each other. If Nosa suspected anything, he would immediately increase the guards, making escape impossible. So she pretended she didn't know Nosa's brother and turned to leave. But then she sat down on the sofa, acting as if she just wanted to learn more about his family. Nosa was thrilled. He eagerly answered her questions and told Ryan to sit and chat with them. Ryan knew she was his brother's fiancée. His heart was filled with confusion. How many mysteries are wrapped around this woman? Why was Ryan staring at her so intensely? She prayed he wouldn't lose control and go berserk like last time. If he did, her only hope of escape would be ruined. Ryan was smart. He didn't blow their cover and followed her lead. The three of them sat together, each harboring their own secrets. Nosa said there was no need to hide anything from Martina. Ryan began, I received a mercenary contract from Cisnen. A grand noble wanted to hire bodyguards, but when he saw me, he was speechless with terror. He thought Father had sent me to execute him. I declined the job and went back to the palace to see Father. He is severely lacking in military strength right now. He needs us to return and help him. I've already notified our other brothers to hurry back. Hearing this, Nosa was completely unbothered. He told Ryan not to stress over it. In her past life, this was exactly when Ryan returned home. He suppressed the rebellion and became the commanding general. Right now, his calm, serious demeanor truly resembled the future god of war. Martina remembered meeting him in her past life. Ryan was still trying to persuade Nosa, using his status as a brother to beg him to return. Nosa sneered dismissively. He didn't acknowledge Ryan as a brother at all, openly mocking Ryan's mother as a filthy woman from an enemy nation. Before Nosa could even finish, Ryan attacked. His mother was his reverse scale. Even while pinned to the table, Nosa didn't shut up. The Cisnan Empire is already falling apart. Go save father by yourself. Ryan could clearly see that Nosa was using Martina to secure his own future. The two brothers wrestled. From Nosa's angle, he couldn't see Martina. This was her only chance. She stepped close to Ryan and whispered, "Save me." Ryan's eyes widened in shock. "Guards!" Nosa yelled. "Throw him out!" They were instantly surrounded by knights. Martina and Ryan exchanged a look, an unspoken understanding passed between them. Martina offered to walk Ryan to the door. "Family members shouldn't fight so bitterly," she said smoothly. Nosa allowed it. At the door, she offered polite platitudes. "I hope today's events haven't ruined your mood." Nosa was already flustered, but one thing was certain: he wanted to take things further with her. Even at the risk of raising Nosa's suspicions, Martina needed a kiss of loyalty from Ryan right now. She had to know how Lily was doing. Back at the palace. "Will this really make them healthy?" the Empress asked anxiously. The children weren't speaking before, but the last few nights they've been shivering and sweating cold sweats. "This is highly concentrated magic energy," Mayfield explained. "I've been feeding it to Siegfried. They are magical creatures. Forcing them into human form consumed far too much energy, which is why they couldn't speak." He woke Siegfried up. The boy's consciousness slowly returned. His first words were complaining about Mayfield waking him up. Seeing the results, the Empress wanted to give the potion to Lily too. But Mayfield stopped her. The mages examined Lily. "Her internal magic is highly mysterious, completely different from what I use." Mayfield asked for a moment alone with the holy beasts. The Empress agreed, stepping out to fetch some food. Wide awake, Siegfried curiously sniffed the little girl beside him. Mayfield introduced her. "This is your sister. Your eggs were laid at the same time. She shares your bloodline. She's your only family in this world." Lily, who had been in a daze, suddenly snapped to her senses. She looked around the unfamiliar room in panic. But she recognized the man standing in front of her. He was the person her mom hated most. So Lily hated him too. Her crying gave Mayfield a headache. He picked her up to comfort her, but Lily ignored him completely. Siegfried complained that she was too noisy. Mayfield just sighed, noting that all little sisters were like this. Eventually, Lily calmed down. Mayfield wiped her nose. "Martina isn't here right now, so I'm taking care of you for a bit." He managed to coax some information out of Lily. He learned that a surge of power had entered her heart, which was why she woke up. Lily didn't know why, but the power smelled just like her mom. Right now, she just wanted her mom. "Don't worry," Mayfield said. "She's probably doing very well right now." Martina had walked right into his trap. Her previous submission wasn't enough. Mayfield wanted to watch her completely break and surrender to him. Outside Nosa's estate, Ryan stood in silence after Martina went back inside. He couldn't believe she had actually agreed to marry Nosa. The thought of her marrying someone else, having a child with someone else, his heart throbbed with agonizing pain. If she married his brother, their brief kiss had pushed his heart past its limit. He collapsed to the ground. Watching from a distance, Martina suspected his blood curse was acting up. Leaving him out there was dangerous. She casually mentioned to Nosa, "Your guest seems to have collapsed." Nosa didn't care in the slightest. "The Cisnan royal family has a hereditary blood madness," he explained casually. "Ryan inherited a heavy dose of it from father. But since his mother was an eloping noble from an enemy nation, no one has ever expected him to inherit the throne, even if he resembles father the most. The royals actually love watching him have his episodes, watching him beg in agony while no one lifts a finger to help." Martina was nauseated. Nosa was utterly repulsive. Because of Martina's presence, Nosa didn't let his brother die on the doorstep. But his patience for delaying the wedding was gone. He threatened Martina that if she didn't make up her mind soon, he would force her to become his wife that very night. Night fell. Martina sneaked out of her room. Thankfully, Nosa had locked Ryan in the basement dungeon, and she knew a servant's passage to get there. She felt somewhat guilty toward Ryan. If she hadn't been reborn, Nosa wouldn't have proposed this alliance, and Ryan wouldn't have come to persuade Nosa to return home. In her past life, Ryan was already a general in Cisnan by this time. She had wanted him to become a great pillar of the state, just like before. In the dungeon, she found him and touched his forehead. He was burning up with fever. Nosa had just left him to lie on the cold floor. She had brought some water and a blanket, hoping to make him a little more comfortable. Ryan groggily opened his eyes. Seeing her, he thought he was dreaming. When his dreaded blood madness acted up, the pain was so intense it caused him to hallucinate. He would dream of things he had never seen before. But this time the dream was so vivid, as if it had actually happened. "General, that woman is following our army again," a knight reported. Ryan went to see for himself. His knights didn't understand why he tolerated it. If he liked her, he should take her in. If not, he should drive her away. Ryan told them to shut up and ordered them to bring him a standard soldier's uniform. In his dream, he was already the commanding general of Cisnen, fighting the rebel Duke Flanders on the border. Oddly, a destitute woman kept trailing behind his army. Investigations revealed she was the exiled princess of the Moran Empire. She seemed to be fleeing assassins, which was why she followed the army. Since no one dared approach his forces, it was the safest place for her to hide. She was bold and incredibly smart. Ryan found himself paying attention to her. Afraid he might scare her, he always disguised himself as a regular soldier when he went to see her. "Don't you get in trouble for always bringing me food?" Martina asked. "These are just scraps. It's fine," he replied. Without the food he brought, she probably would have starved to death. The bread looked like a donut, and it brought her immense happiness. She playfully dubbed him the donut god. Bringing people what they need when they're suffering, that's what a god does. She smiled. Ryan had been deeply moved. She used to be a high and mighty princess, yet in such a miserable situation, she still persevered. She could still smile over a piece of bread. His heart, numbed by endless war, seemed to start beating again because of her. When the blood curse hit him again, he remembered his father. He couldn't understand why his parents, who loved each other so deeply, met such tragic ends. Everyone said love was just the madness rotting in his father's brain, and Ryan believed he was a cursed child too. The princess interrupted his self-deprecation, taking his hand. "My happiness today was brought by you. Someone who can bring warmth and happiness to others. Whoever called you cursed is the biggest idiot in the world." Ryan was profoundly touched. He swore to remember those words forever. But the war with Duke Flanders grew more intense. He didn't have time to visit her often, so he secretly assigned guards to protect her. He knew the princess was searching for something, and he knew how much she cherished the pot she always carried. But he wanted to know more about her. The general pushed himself too hard and fell severely ill. His knights brought the princess to care for him. That was when Martina finally realized he wasn't just a regular soldier. She helped him sit up in bed. She didn't understand why the commanding general would dress as a foot soldier to approach her, or why he bothered protecting her. "I didn't want you to be afraid of me," Ryan confessed. "Are you scary?" Martina asked curiously. "I only felt your kindness when you brought me bread. You worry about the strangest things. You're a very weird person. But I don't dislike your weirdness." Ryan remembered his father again. Maybe they were right. Love was the madness running in their blood. He asked her to stay so he could protect her. She turned her head. "You're crazy. The civil war in Cisnen is at its peak. How do you have the time to protect me?" "And you've clearly looked into who I am." She sat down beside him. "What I need to do right now is absurd. It's like we are stars in the sky. It's enough just to shine brightly as ourselves. In the dark of the night, we'll see each other's light. Remember this meeting and keep moving forward. The heart of a fallen princess and the heart of a vicious general. Let's make this our secret." Ryan agreed, suppressing his reluctance, and let her go. She was like a star suspended above his heart. Just thinking of her banished his exhaustion. Thinking of her cured the terror of his illness. Thinking of her gave him the courage to fight the most perilous battles. He ended the civil war ahead of schedule. He skipped the award ceremonies and ignored the rumors that he was to inherit the throne. He just wanted to go see her. He tracked her trail deep into an uninhabited forest, searching for a legendary creature. He had so much he wanted to say to her. But when he finally saw her, it was only her corpse. Ryan couldn't utter a single word. He had wanted to take her to see the snow in Cisnen. Her red hair would have looked so beautiful against it. He didn't understand what he had done wrong. In his cursed life, he had met only one star, and now it was gone. His tears fell beneath the tree. A god appeared. The god took pity on his sorrow and offered to send him back to meet Martina again. The price was forgetting everything, and his blood curse would boil twice as fiercely. Ryan didn't hesitate for a second. No matter how many times he had to start over, no matter what price he had to pay, he just wanted to be by her side. In his past life, he thought that when he saw her again, he would cry out of weakness. But now he only felt an overwhelming sense of happiness. Martina didn't know what he was thinking. She just told him to get well quickly. She needed his help. Her father was using her child as leverage to force the marriage, and now she was trapped here. Learning she was being coerced, Ryan asked bluntly, "Do you need me to kill your father for you?" Martina was speechless. Last time, when she asked him to kill a prince, he refused. His methods were out of the question. She despised her father, yes, but if he died, the country would be thrown into chaos. Ryan's sudden shift in attitude was strange. It was like his illness had changed him entirely. Ryan flashed a mysterious smile. "I found a crucial piece of the puzzle." Martina had no idea what he was talking about, so she began explaining her escape plan. She had memorized the patrol routes over the past few days. Before they could finish, Nosa found them. He had suspected Martina's interest in his brother was unusual. And now here was his fiancée, in the dungeon with his brother. He demanded an explanation. Ryan stepped in front of her. "She never agreed to marry you. You have no right to threaten her like this." Nosa was furious that Martina had told Ryan everything. Though Nosa despised Ryan, he clearly had no idea of Ryan's true strength. If Martina could just buy enough time for Ryan to recover, he would be her strongest asset. But Nosa's patience had run out. She had to try. She told Nosa she was willing to consider the marriage, claiming she was just tired of living in constant fear. "Rather than being forced to sign a contract later, I might as well negotiate some benefits for myself now." Nosa's face darkened. He told her she had no right to negotiate. She was just a commodity sold by her father, and her current situation was entirely her family's doing. Nosa bragged that her father, a shrewd and powerful emperor, knew Siznan was in the midst of a civil war, and the throne could change hands at any moment. If Nosa married Martina, the emperor would back him. With that support, Nosa had a huge chance of becoming the Siznan emperor, while her father would wield power over both nations from the shadows. This perfect scheme only required a small sacrifice, a woman giving up her marriage and future. Nosa waved his hand dismissively. For an unwanted, despised princess, a marriage alliance is your only use. Martina had heard words like that countless times in her past life. Her brother used to say he thought she'd die weak and alone in the wasteland, but keeping her alive had its uses. Nobles had insulted her, calling her a disgrace to the royal family. She had been thrown into a dungeon by her own brother. In her past life, everyone constantly reminded her she wasn't fit to be a princess. Her parents and brother never treated her like family. Reborn, nothing had changed. But thankfully, she had never expected them to. She never believed that bowing her head would earn their love. She didn't want anyone's charity. She only wanted a future she chose with her own hands. She had a new family now. Her child stood behind her, and she had people who followed her. She was no longer a villainess with nothing to her name. Her eyes turned icy. She ordered Ryan to take her out of there. Ryan's eyes gleamed red. He pledged his honor into her hands. Nosa looked at his brother's eyes and felt a spike of real fear. He ordered his knights to kill Ryan. Ryan pulled Martina into his arms. "Don't open your eyes for a minute. The smell of blood doesn't suit you." The soldiers were terrified, whispering that he was a monster. But the clash of weapons didn't scare Martina at all. Instead, she felt a profound warmth. It felt like she had been held like this in her past life. Amidst the gore, Nosa found himself with a sword at his throat. Yet he still spat. "Your eyes! They're exactly like the emperor from history who died of the blood madness." Martina sat casually on a nearby chair. "Still in the mood to spout nonsense? Tell me, my dear fiancé, did you ever imagine this day would come? You wanted to use a woman as a stepping stone for power, and now you've lost everything. How will the Siznan courts judge you? I can't wait to see the joke." Even then, Nosa didn't stop. He claimed he genuinely wanted to be her husband, that an arrogant villainess and a debauched playboy were a perfect match. What a pity she didn't want to play the puppet. Driven to the edge, Nosa cursed her to a life of misery. He even tried to goad Ryan into killing him. Faced with death, he showed no fear, only mocking his brother, hoping to die by Ryan's hand. But Ryan wouldn't give him what he wanted. Death was an easy escape. Nosa wasn't going to get off that lightly for his crimes. Seeing Ryan completely lucid, Nosa was in disbelief. Ryan used to sleep for an entire day after an episode. But Ryan had endured the madness enough times to learn how to master it. Tired of Nosa's rambling, Ryan knocked him out with a single strike. Martina laughed. That really is the fastest way to shut him up. She walked over to check on Ryan. He wasn't injured. Are you okay? She asked. Suddenly, she felt a wave of dizziness. Ryan caught her. You shouldn't have seen such a filthy scene. Next time, I'll clean it up properly. Martina didn't understand why he was talking like that. He was standing too close. It reminded her of the familiar, warm feeling she had when he held her during the fight. Feeling slightly embarrassed, she was totally caught off guard when Ryan asked, "Does your child have a father?" Her jaw practically hit the floor. Did he think she had a child with some lover? She burst out laughing. She explained the Moran Empire's tradition. The heir personally incubates a guardian holy beast, which becomes their child. Ryan's imagination was running wild. Ryan looked embarrassed and asked her to stop laughing. Because right now, I really want to kiss you. Martina's eyes widened. She quickly covered his mouth. Right now, her only priorities were protecting Lily and securing the throne. She understood Ryan liked her, but inheriting the Empire was her ultimate goal. Everything else had to take a back seat. Hearing this, Ryan said he was willing to wait for her. A booming voice interrupted them. Didn't you just say you weren't interested in him? It was Phoenix. Did you cause all these bodies and blood, you brick wall-looking brute? You're a vicious wild beast. Get away from her. Ryan glared at the mage. Phoenix seemed to have gotten stronger. Possessing such terrifying power meant he would be incredibly dangerous in the future. As expected, the moment they saw each other, they started fighting. After they dealt with the aftermath, Ryan said he was taking Nosa back to Siznin. He guaranteed Nosa would never bother her again. They might not see each other for a long time, but he promised they would meet again. When that time came, he wanted to invite Martina to travel with him. Martina happily agreed. Maybe by then, you'll be the hero of Siznin. Not necessarily, Phoenix grumbled. If Martina hadn't stepped between them, the two probably would have started brawling again. Martina left with Phoenix. Before she arrived, he had fully prepared himself to fight the moment he sensed danger. He had even brought all the gems she gave him. They were incredibly hard to get, but he was ready to burn them all to save her life. It's no big deal, Phoenix shrugged. The auction house owner answers to you now. You can get as many as you want. We'll talk on the way back. You need to rest. In the carriage, one person was nearly losing his mind with relief. The carriage pulled away. Martina asked about Lily. Neil reported that Prince Mayfield had taken Lily back, and she was perfectly healthy with no issues. Martina breathed a sigh of relief. Good. But it was shocking that her brother had actively helped. How much did the nobles know? Her father would definitely control the flow of information and use public opinion against her. Knowing Lily was safe, the tension finally drained from her body. Exhaustion washed over her, and she fell asleep without realizing it. Phoenix gently adjusted her position so she could sleep more comfortably. Miel could only watch from the side, enduring Phoenix's taunts about being a coward. Miel said nothing, but his expression grew dark. Soon the carriage arrived at the palace. She was home, and her home was a place where you couldn't survive without holding a weapon. The feeling filled her with adrenaline. Phoenix told Martina to wait a moment. He had been bad-mouthing Miel to her all the way back. Martina laughed and said Miel deserved it. Though it stung a little, Phoenix pulled out a high mage badge. To save her, he had desperately leveled up his skills. Between taking the exams during the day and gathering men with the secretary at night, he had barely slept. The high mage exam wasn't cheap either. Martina guessed the truth. You blew through all the funding I prepaid you at the Magic Tower, didn't you? Phoenix handed her the badge like a prize. Martina teased him. Were you just worried that because I got kidnapped, you'd lose your sugar mommy? Is that why you worked so hard to save me? He knew Martina always kept her guard up. After all, keeping a magical genius by her side was dangerous. He looked at her seriously. If I can't even protect the person who matters to me, then being a genius is useless. You can afford to trust me a little more. Martina thought about it. When they first met, he was like a stray cat pretending to be friendly for food. He hadn't said anything overly flattering, but she could almost see a tail wagging at her. It seemed she had officially secured a new pillar of the state. The mood was perfect. There is always a great mage standing beside the sovereign of the empire, Martina said. She asked him to swear his oath. Phoenix took her hand. The one standing beside you will be the most powerful mage in the history of the empire. But instead of kissing the back of her hand, he kissed her forehead. Martina scolded him, slightly annoyed. Phoenix just smiled. Stop treating me like a kid. With a ding, the system confirmed the transfer. This energy wouldn't just feed Lily, it would also bring a wave of good fortune to the nation. In Martina's room, Lily was drawing. Suddenly, she felt a surge of energy. Mom was coming back. She paced around the room, determined to show Mom how strong she was. She didn't want Mom to worry. She had to greet her with a smile. The door opened. Mom was here. Lily launched herself at Martina. Seeing Lily safe and sound, Martina felt a wave of guilt. She hadn't been able to protect her. Lily tried to act tough, pretending she had been totally fine, but the words caught in her throat and the tears started falling. She had missed Mom so much. She had nightmares every night that she would never see Mom again. Martina patted her back gently. It's okay. If you want to cry, cry. You don't have to hold it in. Lily demanded to be held. Martina laughed, noticing how cunning Lily had become. She looks exactly like you did when you were little, Miel commented. Martina felt someone approaching. It was Miel. They hadn't really spoken since their argument. He simply said, Your Highness, I won't disturb you further, and left the room. Lying next to her mother, Lily whispered, Miel was acting so weird. When you were gone, he talked about you constantly. But now that you're back, he doesn't say anything. Maybe he hates me now, Martina mused. No one could ever hate Mom, Lily declared fiercely. If they do, I'll bite their head off. I almost did it a few days ago. Martina smiled. Maybe Miel is just a little unhappy lately. I'm planning to take you out tomorrow to relax. We'll bring Miel along so he can unwind too. For tonight, let's just get a good sleep. Lily was overjoyed. Having Mom back felt so good. She wanted to make Mom happy. The next day, the maids had all the food prepared. Martina happily brought Lily out, ready to head to the countryside. Just as they were leaving, the head maid arrived with a message. His Majesty wanted to see her to talk. Martina didn't even turn around. There is nothing to talk about. Since I've returned, the marriage alliance is officially off. She told the head maid to pass a message to her father. I'm not in the mood to argue with him today. I'll see him when I feel like it. And with that, she set off happily. From a distance, the Emperor and Mayfield watched the carriage leave. The Emperor was displeased. The intelligence we leaked should have been enough for the second prince to handle Martina. That's the only reason you agreed to let Lily go. Clearly, something went wrong. The fault lies with the second prince, and based on my investigations, he's just a glutton for pleasure. Trying to infiltrate Cisnan through a marriage alliance with a man like that is far too slow. Mayfield had a better plan, and the Emperor would see it today. The Emperor wanted to unify the continent with his own hands, but his body was failing him. Mayfield handed his father his medicine, a cryptic smile playing on his lips. Father might not be able to achieve that goal himself, but I will. The carriage arrived in the countryside. Lily shrieked with excitement. A massive meadow, endless green, even bigger than the palace grounds. Martina watched her child lovingly, warning her to stay out of the tall grass because of the bugs. Since Lily was born, she had been cooped up in the palace. She rarely got to go out. Martina resolved to bring her out to play more often. Lily curiously pinched a bug. Is this the bug Mom was talking about? Of everyone present, Miel had the biggest reaction, panicking over the bug. Martina and the others found it hilarious. Martina sent Lily off with Louise and Linny to set up the food, saying she would rest nearby for a bit before joining them. Martina couldn't help but laugh. Lily running wild like this. It really is exactly how I was when I was a kid. She glanced at Miel. Don't you think? Just as she was convinced Miel was never going to speak to her again, he made a request. Today, could I not be the secretary, and could you not be Her Highness? For today, can we just be normal friends? Martina was surprised. That's it? She half suspected he was about to resign and was testing her limits. You're overthinking it, Miel said. She agreed. We'll start by dropping the formalities. Miel asked Martina to call him by his first name. He also asked to hold her hand. Martina was puzzled, but Linny had mentioned that he hadn't slept for days while trying to rescue her. Now all he wanted was to hold her hand. They walked together hand in hand like they had returned to their childhood. After Miel became her servant, Since they were close in age and he was very mature, the Empress felt comfortable letting him play with her. Back then, she fought with Mayfield constantly. Her mother only cared about her ladylike etiquette, and her father didn't care about her at all. Only Miel would talk to her and help her through her bad moods. "Look over there, a little dog!" She would look, find nothing, and then Miel would imitate a puppy just to make her smile. It was such a silly trick, but thinking back on it made her incredibly happy. Miel used to love talking to her. He was never this silent. Miel asked carefully, "Is holding hands like this uncomfortable?" Martina didn't think it was a big deal. They held hands all the time as kids. "We're grown up now," Miel said. "It's different than before." "How is it different?" Martina frowned. "We haven't changed." Miel smiled. "Our hands used to be about the same size. But now your hand feels so small in mine." A gentle breeze blew past. Who knew whose heart it fluttered? The warmth of Miel's palm made Martina slightly nervous. She feigned annoyance and walked ahead. Lily noticed her mom from a distance. Mom and Miel look really happy. Linny and Louise saw it too and finally relaxed. The tension between Miel and the princess had been thick lately. Louise whispered gossip to Linny, suspecting that the mage's appearance had triggered Miel's insecurities. Lily curiously joined the huddle to listen in. Louise asked Lily, "Out of Miel, the mage, and that really tall guy, who is your favorite?" Lily was faced with a nearly impossible choice. Miel always played with her. But the mage brother set off fireworks, and the other big brother was so tall, it was too hard to choose. She just wanted everyone to play with her every day. They were so busy gossiping they didn't realize Martina had returned and was standing right behind them, asking what they were whispering about. With a pop, confetti filled the air. Linny and Louise congratulated her on her safe return. Lily brought out a cake, wishing that she and Mom would be together forever. They had been preparing this surprise all morning. "So I have always been cared for," Martina thought. "I will remember this day forever." Miel watched from the sidelines. He hoped her light would shine forever, but at the same time he felt a pang of sorrow. When she truly reached the top, he didn't know if he would still have a place by her side. As they enjoyed the homemade cake, Martina remembered her other mission. Yesterday, she had used Lily's newly upgraded skill to unlock a blessing of good fortune for the Moran Kingdom, pointing her toward a powerful force located in the Noxia Valley. She had brought her trusted people here today so they could search for that power once it got dark. The sky suddenly clouded over and it began to rain. Lily tried to use her ears to block the rain, forgetting she didn't have animal ears in her human form. She couldn't stay out in the rain or she'd catch a cold. Martina turned to ask Miel to take Lily back to the carriage, but Miel was nowhere to be found. Linny said he had gone for a walk earlier and hadn't come back. She suggested Her Highness return to the carriage while she went to look for him. Martina felt strange. How had she not noticed him leaving? She decided to go look for him herself. Eventually, she found Miel standing by a pond. Seeing her approach, he immediately fell back into formalities, calling her Your Highness and offering his coat to shield her from the rain, urging her to go back. Martina understood now. Miel had something important he wanted to say to her. That was why he asked to just be friends for the day. Now they were completely alone. "Whatever it is you want to say," Martina said, "say it right here."